What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, June 24th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. I'm pumped up, man. I'm pumped up. Yesterday felt like a minefield on the diamond, and I opened up with a loss, and I only made one more bet in MLB, the first 5 under 3.5 in the A's-Mariners game. Easy casher there. And then we destroyed CFL. It was the easiest 2 cashers ever. I know when we were capping CFL yesterday, there was a couple of guys in the chat who were like, hurry up, let's get to MLB. And man, can pump those fucking brakes, man. This show is all about making money. That's the most important thing in this show. And we are making money consistently in CFL. So we've got to spend a little bit of time on it. You know, when you guys want to move on to MLB, and goddamn, those cashers were so easy. Alouettes money line plus 115. They were what? There was 29-6 or 3 at the half. Even though the Ticats were in a similar situation, didn't pull through for us. The Rough Riders team total under 22.5. They got a late touchdown to get 13 points. It was great. Look, I know this is supposed to be fun, and that's why we initially capped sports, because they're fun. But this is also the kind of fun that can improve your and your family's life and can change your life. Cashing, and that's what we've been doing consistently now. And I'm really, really, really pumped up, man. Feeling really good about all of our study and our hard work and our teamwork. Viper NB in the house. Tailed spreadsheet. Got spreadsheets white hot. Taint white hot. Everybody just cashing around us. And yesterday's MLB card was a minefield. And I think the same about today's MLB card. I'm not exaggerating. I'll go over them. There were 6 different games where when I was done all my work, because I already bet the Blue Jays game, so put that away. But there were 6 other games I was like, I want to move on these games. I went through all 6 of them, and only one I moved on. All the other 5 didn't correlate the way I need them to for me to cash lately, and I don't care. Look, I had 13 bets on Tuesday and 2 yesterday in MLB. I just got to take what the league gives me. And we got action from Vipe. He's on White Sox first 5 -1/2. White Sox -1. Abs -1. Blue Jays first 5 -1/2. Yeah, the Manoah bounce back after the Yankees loss. I also took them full game. I can understand that their bullpen is such that you would probably want to just focus on the first 5. But I do think that stopping being swept in by the White Sox and having the day off to kind of refresh. I think they're going to be a tough out in the series against Milwaukee. There's Brian Watson in the house. Jedi for life is on Taiwan Walker over 4.5 strikeouts at -105 at DraftKings and he's on Mets money line in first 5 under. Those were thoughts of mine as well that I did not move on. There was enough to make me uncomfortable there, but thoughts of mine. Those were my first thoughts too, which, I mean, obviously, I'd already bet the Jays game, so you can do with that what you will. J-Dub, ready to get to work. Happy Friday to Davidless Occupancy. Danny Lopez, Drug Monkey RX Saturated. Says baseball's hard. Baseball's very hard. Yes. But, God, we're looking real nice in it. We're looking real nice. Jay Peasy coming off another winning day, and Jay Peasy's got a boatload of action for tonight. That's how his weekend's going to get started. And he's on the Avs -1 too. And I'm looking forward to talk about that. We have Babano as our guest for CFL, NHL, and MLB. He'll be here for the whole show. There's Von Polo come to us from Charm City. Mark Schillingberg ready to get to work. What up, Mark? My guy. There's T-Mac. Said had a terrible day in the dirt. Huge CFL cash. Yeah. CFL was very easy. It was sit back, relax, and watch the money come in. Saturates only wanted to move to MLB yesterday because there were 4 games early. Oh, I didn't put, no worries. I didn't put that on you at all, Saturated. I know. I get it. Son Dizzle, whom I love dearly, says I'm looking extra soft this morning. Oh, no. He knows that's my trigger word. For those of you who got to hang with Son Dizzle in San Antonio, he's one of the best comedians this country has ever produced, but also just money in the bank. Great basketball capper. Cole Coleone in the house. Mark Schillingberg says great night in CFL. WNBA can't thank you guys and Tease enough. I love it. Lance LaRose, Saturated says Tease gave out free money too. That's what he does. T-Mac got a friend trying to bring into pub sports. Please do. There's my guy LJ from H-Town 4-2 on MLBS. See you running hot, LJ. We all do. Trenton Claxton, man. My guy Trenton Claxton, he's been with us since day one. The Yankees, Miami Dodgers was good money yesterday. I was upset that I left money on the table. I was. And look at this. 33 says, guys, easy money tomorrow. Nate Manis fight over. I got a bachelor party in Niagara Falls, and they're going to the club on Saturday night, and I'm not going to go. So,
but Jimmy, it's Friday night. Come on, Jimmy. You got to get in there, do the dance.
They're cool with it. Look, I don't want to bring anybody down. Look, I'll drink with everybody. I'll party, but I can't. I'm not like, I'm just going to go play some poker, and then I wouldn't mind betting on this, on the fights and just having some action. And look, I'll be ready to rock when they come out of the club at 2:33 in the morning or whatever it is. I can't do it. And I'm not, and I don't want to, I don't want to be like, pouting drunk with a bottle in front of me in a nightclub with music I don't like, So let's just keep it simple. They're cool with it. They're fine with it. They're like, don't worry. Bruce Hayward ready to go, says Cards blowout tonight. Cardinals blowout tonight. It's Raymond Reichart, Christopher Comantini, Salatzi in the house. Says, how about those A's? Easy cash. Riding Avs -1 tonight. My first -1 NHL of the year. Oh, wow. You may fall in love. G Martinez says, Jimmy nailed that CFL. Look, it felt good. It felt good. Those of you guys who have been with me for a long time have gone through the lows with me, and the tough times and the losing seasons and shit like that. And so we're sitting here on like 5 months of consistent money coming in, just winning and winning and winning. And it just feels so good, especially for those of you guys who have stuck with me through tough times. And I remember my first year doing this publicly in MLB was horrific. It was absolutely horrific. There we go. AJS ready to go. Donut Silks. I love Donut Silks. Great thoroughbred capper. Great friends. How about them Guardians? Dommy Gun Ricci plus 2.5 units yesterday. Dommy Gun was on the daily Sesh show we have, 4:20 p.m. here every day. And it was the first time I got a chance to sit and watch it, because usually I have to pick up Ella and she wants to play the playground, and I was able to just sit and watch it and have a little bit of time. And it's my favorite show. It's my favorite show in the whole industry. There's something so freeing, especially for us. Like, I'm 42, and I can imagine for guys older than me who were waiting for the stigma, the negative energy around marijuana smoke to go away, and for people to understand that marijuana is so much better for a society than alcohol. And watching these guys, puff bats and talk life as well as sport. It's not just a capping show. It's a life show as well. God, it was freeing. And I loved every second of it. It's my favorite show. And I want to get on it. The problem is that I don't smoke in the house. I don't want, Ella's old enough. Ella knows what's up, and I don't want her saying, what's the smell? What is that smell? What's this, So I don't know how I can do the show really, unless I just like pop down the street to like a weed smoke cafe and do the show from there, because I just Ella knows what's up, man. And
Pardon? You guys have cafes where you guys go and smoke weed?
All over the city, and we've had for years and years. All over the city, comedy shows. I mean, and I'm in Vancouver. Look, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, we had these cafes. Toronto, still too. Toronto's had them for 15 years, 20 years. Yeah,
I'm shocked.
It's Canada, baby. All right, we got to get to work here. We have a lot of work to do. Sorry, son. I didn't realize that from many moons ago, that would have been 15 years ago. I apologize for saying you look soft.
Son Dizzle, I made fun of him. Don't worry. I said I chuckled when I saw him this morning.
He did.
I did. I got your back, Son Dizzle.
But look, none of us go to Jose for fashion tips, so he can laugh all he wants. Ronnie and Bergia says catch on CFL, WNBA, and Orioles plus 1.5. Thanks so much, Pub Sports. I love that. I love all this. I love everything that we're doing. But we have a ton of work to do right now. Keith Gordon, happy Friday, my guy. A ton of work to do, and let's get after that work. Donut Silk says bachelor parties. Some of those things sound great when you're young. As I get older, I can't stand them. Yeah, it's family, so that family's important. And Oh, Als, not the A's. Okay, my bad. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, what? Have the A's won a game? Look at there. There's Razor Sharp Pick says, "What's up? Best day of the week. Let's win some money. Cash at Fridays." So now, Cash at Fridays has been my favorite show in the gambling market. So I did mention that Daily Sesh is there's something different about Daily Sesh. It just feels like we're a little bit ahead of the curve on both those shows of thoroughbred gambling show and then Daily Sesh. Daily Sesh is fucking dope, man. You guys gotta check it out. 4:20 p.m. It's just there's something freeing about that. Viper said, "I'm just glad Jimmy stopped betting on bumps." No, that's not what's happened, Vipe. I just had everything correlated. Look, I'll bet on bumps nonstop, and I've already bet on the Edmonton Elks. So I look, bums. This is not about that. There's Nasty Nate in the house. She says, Nasty Nate says, "Tell her it's that goodness." That's possible. That is possible. Big show ready to go. Okay, let's. And MXC Raider says, "Yes, inhaling smoke into your lungs is always healthy." Look, it's not as healthy as not smoking at all. But if it gets people off the drink a little bit, and we can get people off, all of the alcoholism that we have in our communities, then it's a positive. But I hear you, MX Raider. Look, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. And, you don't have to watch the Daily Sesh. But I am. And I love the show. And look, we don't always have to agree on everything. Sports, life, it's all different. And look, do I want my children smoking bats? No. But when they're over 18, after a tough day at work, they want to sit back and smoke a bat, not hammer back a couple balls of wine. I'm down. Okay, let's get to work. MLB spreadsheet play of the day is in. Spreadsheet play of the day is in. Let me grab that here. Oh, and the Big Beaver play of the day is in as well. And the spreadsheet play of the day is the St. Louis Cardinals. Ron Crawford, white hot right now. Let me get that here. That's the spreadsheet play of the day. Derek Parr says, "Do you like your Blue Jays to win today?" Yes, I do, but I like them better first 5 than I do full game. The Big Beaver play today, first 10 minutes, Colorado plus 225. They will be jacked at home for this. See, I like that look. I agree they'll be jacked, but I do think that they're going to have an advantage as the game goes on, which is what's got me off that first period. But I get it. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Let's go. Let's bring in your first guest our only guest of the show. He's capping all the sports with us, and these Fridays are magic with him. Please welcome to the show, Ian Cameron. How you doing, Babano, my guy?
It's great. It's a big Friday. I mean, we got 3 sports, so looking forward to it. Great weekend ahead.
Great weekend ahead. Let's get right to work because we have a lot of work to do. We start on the Canadian gridiron here in CFL. 2 easy cashers last night. Let's keep it rolling. And as you guys know, as soon as I said that too, it was talk about freeing watching the Daily Session. It's freeing telling myself, you don't have to bet every CFL game. One of the great things about CFL, and I've told you guys this quite often, is that you can get your shit together with CFL really quickly. We're talking about a 9-team league. And once you're in, you don't get out, And I've realized that this is the most excited I've been about CFL since 1996. And I remember it so well. I was in grade 11, and the BC
should be excited every year.
No, I haven't. I'll tell you this. This is the story for me in CFL, Babano. I was a big CFL guy. In 1996, we brought in Andre Ware, first Black Heisman Trophy winner, and 2 speedster wide receivers. One was Daryl Frazier out of Florida. I can't remember the name. I mean, we're talking a long time ago. And we started at 0-4.
Broadcaster too, Andre Ware.
Yeah, Andre Ware, I dig him. But we started at 0-4, and CFL doesn't, they don't secure your contract. So we just cut them. We cut the 3 of them, the quarterbacks and the wide receiver. We just cut them. They'd risked, a lot to move up to Canada here. And the fact it made me so angry. I was just livid. And when you'd go to games, they'd be blasting music during plays, like blasting by, like it was and I was like, you know what, this fucking Bush League, fuck this Bush League, gonna just cut these guys who risk everything to come up here after 4 games, and it really bothered me. It really, really bothered me that we would do something like that. And I've come back, and the capping is really what's brought me back. But this is the most excited I've been here in for a full season. And we started out 7-3 right now. Let's get right to work. We got Big Ragu in the house. Saturated says, how does one watch CFL in America? That's a good question. It used to be on ESPN 3. Do you know how people watch it nowadays, Babano, in America?
Yeah, it's ESPN networks. Every game is on either ESPN Plus, ESPN2, or ESPN News. The majority are on ESPN Plus, the streaming platform. But they have 2 of the games this week are on ESPN2. And there's actually more of an actual television network presence for CFL this year. So it's great. I mean, every game will be on the ESPN network south of the border, either on ESPN Plus, ESPN News, or ESPN2. And this game's on ESPN2 tonight, Ticats and Bombers, as well as the Toronto BC game tomorrow night.
The rematch of the last 2 Grey Cups.
Yes.
Dutch boy fresh in the house. Dutch, I gave your show a shout out off the top. I loved it. I've been thinking about it a lot. I loved it. We're ahead with that show. That's the first show where I really watched it. I'm like, God, there's something I fucking love it. Every day, 420, daily sesh. And you and Dab work so well together. It's just, and then Dommy Gun, Ricci, it was just, I enjoyed it immensely. All right, let's get to work here. Rematch of the Grey Cup. Last 2 Grey Cups. Hamilton Tiger Cats at Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I was talking about something freeing for myself, and that's not having to bet on every game. I found this game difficult, and I felt that the Lions game was difficult, but we'll get into that here. The Tiger Cats are dealing with injuries, and I'm not going to talk too much about the Tiger Cats when we got Babano on the show because he knows his team inside and out. And Babano, I was pretty confident, and I made a bigger bet than usual on the Tiger Cats. And I was watching the game in Niagara Falls because it was the wife's side of the bachelorette party for her last week and the guy's side this weekend. And like 24-3, I felt like I was an absolute genius. I thought you must have been sitting there going, God damn, why didn't I put money on the Ticats? And watching them buckle in the second half was alarming. No Don Jackson, starting running back, and Alex Fontana. We saw how much a starting center means to a team when we watched the Rough Riders struggle last night without their most outstanding lineman center who had broken his fibula the week before. And the Bombers are going to be missing their own center. Michael Couture, all-star right tackle for the Bombers. Jamarcus Hardwick is questionable. There are some other injuries that are dealing with for the Ticats, Carriel Brooks and Lamar Durant, wide receiver, but we'll let Babano talk about those spots. Bombers are off to a 2-0 start after sweeping a home-and-home against the new-look Red Blacks. The Bomber defense looked excellent against Jeremiah Masoli and the Red Blacks. Masoli gained a ton of yards through the air, but couldn't penetrate the Bombers' red zone defense. The Bombers allowed just 1 touchdown each game. The Bombers didn't allow a single touchdown in the fourth quarter all of last year, except for those last 2 games when they were playing their subs, when they were resting their starters. So this is a spectacular defense. Allowed 13.4 points per game last year, going up against the Ticats defense, which is the second best defense of last year, although they certainly didn't show it when they squandered that 21-point lead. And they look bad because even in that game against Saskatchewan that we saw, that I was on, Saskatchewan was 30-13 final. You sit back, look at the score, you think, oh, we won this easily. But that was a tight game until the Ticats fell apart in the fourth quarter. Why is this happening? And the last note I'll make before I hear Babano's notes here or angles is that clearly the Bombers offense does not look very good without Andrew Harris, their star running back, and Kenny Lawler, a leading receiver in the CFL. Lawler's moved over to the Elks. Harrison moved over to the Argos. And here we have a very low total, understandably so. Let's just go over quickly, very, very quickly. We'll just go over the line movements here and then hand it over to Babano. But there was an idea that this market would keep moving towards the Ticats. When I was reading articles, there was a thought that, is this going to go down to 3.5 even? But it's at 5.
Yeah.
Jesus, is that 6 now?
It's not yet, not everywhere, but it's 5.5.
And
now.
It's 6 now at Bet365.
Yeah.
Wow. It's at 6 now. And then from a total perspective, we have it opening up at 42.5. It went up to 43.5. It's back at 42.5. Take it away, Babano. The rematch of the last 2 Grey Cups here. Friday night football. This is the only game on Friday night. Take it away.
So I almost can't believe what I saw last Saturday. We were at the whole stadium's in collective shock when we see the Ticats just collapse in the second half, which is essentially what ended up happening in that game. It was a gorgeous day for a football game, too. Everybody's in a great mood, and to see it go that way was stunning. And now they're in a hole. Now they're 0-2, and that was the even greater pain of losing that game, is knowing you're 0-2 and you've got to go to Winnipeg and face the two-time defending Grey Cup champions here that have beaten you 2 years in a row in the Grey Cup. This is a game that I'm totally off. I'm not involved in it at all. I'm just going to hope as a fan they find a way. It's not going to be easy, though, and there's a bunch of issues right now with the Ticats. However, there's some good news. Let's start with the good news. Dylan Wynn's back. That insulates the defensive line. He's good in that interior. He's good at getting pressure up the field on opposing quarterbacks. That's certainly going to help them. But what's not good news is Brandon Revenberg, the left guard, the outstanding East Division CFL lineman last year, is out, which means this offensive line's already had issues and question marks and concerns all season, with only 2 starting offensive linemen back from last year's team. Well, now you only have 1 offensive lineman from last year's team starting this game tonight, and that's, of course, the right tackle, Chris Van Zyl, who's still terrific, by the way, still plays at a very high level. But outside of that, it's a whole bunch of question marks. Left tackle, left guard, the center. We had Fontana in week 1, who was terrible. Then he gets injured. It's another center last week against Calgary, and now apparently they may go back to Fontana here tonight. So it's musical chairs on the offensive line, and that's not a good thing when you got to deal with Willie Jefferson and Jackson Jeffcoat for the Bombers. One of the best pass rushing teams defensively in the CFL. So I really worry for the O-line of the Ticats tonight on the road against this Winnipeg team. I could only take the Bombers, quite honestly. If I had to make a play on the side, it would be Winnipeg. I mean, it feels like it's a short number. They're very good at home. They covered against Ottawa last week on the road. They didn't cover in week 1 against Ottawa, but keep in mind, Ottawa, in that game, they were laying more than a touchdown, although it got bet down. They're laying a cheaper number here. Hamilton's got issues, in my opinion. Now, the Winnipeg offense is the concern in terms of laying the points with the Bombers, because their offense hasn't looked like it's been fully firing on all cylinders yet. No doubt about it. The offense hasn't been great yet for the Bombers with Collaros, and they're still adjusting. What do they want to be? Do they still want to be a running team, even though they've got no Harris anymore, and it's Augustine and Oliveira at running back? Do they want to throw the football more? Because Buck Pierce has hinted at that with Collaros, because they have the trust and the faith and the confidence in him now after him winning the Grey Cup last year and the year before, for that matter. They're still in between. They're still trying to find their offensive identity. I could only go under, but here's the problem. It's 42.5. It's such a low number. You could almost sometimes go over a number like that by accident, kind of like last night. What if you get a special teams touchdown? What if you get a pick 6? What if there's a sack fumble, which could happen with Hamilton's O-line concerns, and it's returned for a touchdown, scoop and score? It's very possible in a game like this, and all of a sudden your under gets blown up because the total's only 42.5. So I lean under, but the total's too low. I lean Winnipeg, but the one thing I know about Hamilton is after the last game and after the way they lost it against Calgary, and after losing 2 years in a row in the Grey Cup to this team, I know the effort will be there. I know the focus will be there. I know the intensity will be there. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're better than Winnipeg.
No, I don't think they're better than Winnipeg right now either. But you talk about the intensity being there. It really makes me want to see if they can cover this 6. It's just too many points. Matty Ice Taint play today is in. I can understand you wanting to stay off, but I mean, were you impressed by the Bombers against the Red Blacks, other than their defense, in any facet, in any form of the game? No,
not offensively. Not offensively. I mean, they've had some concerns. I think they miss Harris. They miss Kenny Lawler, who was their best receiver by far last year. They're still, Wolotarski and the other wideouts they've got are very solid. Nick Dembski's good. They've got still some good receivers, but nothing like take the top off the defense and stretch the defense vertically. And I don't think they've got a threat like that without Kenny Lawler this year. So it's more of a, paint by numbers offense, more of a short to intermediate passing game offense. Like I say, the run game is still in development, and they're still trying to see what they've got with the 2 running backs they have now. And that's the biggest concern with Winnipeg. The defense is still great, and we saw it the first 2 weeks against Ottawa every time Ottawa got into the red zone, they got shut down. It's funny, they actually gave up yards. They gave up big plays to Ottawa, but every time Ottawa got into the red zone, they shut them down. They didn't let him get into the end zone. The secondary does bother me a bit, though, for Winnipeg. They have given up some passing plays, and remember, Ackland dropped a sure touchdown in the very first game of the season in the first quarter, or else that could have been a different game. So if, and it's a huge if, with one offensive lineman back from last year that's going to be on the field tonight for Hamilton, but if Evans has some time to throw the football, Dane Evans, he could actually make some plays against this secondary, because I think there are some vulnerabilities there, but that's a huge if the protection's going to hold.
Okay.
Tough game it is, yeah.
Well, I'm whenever it's a rematch of, now we have our last two Grey Cups because we lost the season due to COVID.
Give me a healthy offensive line at this number. I'm on Hamilton. I am.
I think I will be on it anyways. But it's going to take more time. And let's not hum and haw. We've got a ton of work to do.
Yep.
Let's move on to the two Saturday games here, and we'll be a little briefer with this one. We're going to start with the Edmonton Elks, 0-2, 0-1 at home at Calgary Stampeders, 2-0, 1-0 at home. We're at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, Alberta. We will move over to let's get here, see if we can get the line. So this spread opened up at 9 at Bet365. It went to 8.5, back to 9. It's sitting at 8.5 right now. This total opened up at 50, got up to 51, and then dropped again. It's now sitting at 49.5. The Elks opened their season with that ugly 59-15 loss at BC before looking quite a bit better in that 26-16 home loss versus the Rough Riders. They were up 13-12 going into the fourth quarter. The Stamps have opened up their season with two clutch victories. They beat the Alouettes 30-27 at home in week one before that impressive comeback, beating the Ticats 33-30 in overtime. And James Wilder is questionable. I've heard that he will play. And then the injuries aren't too big of a deal. That's if Trey Robertson, Jonathan Moxley, Trey Robertson's backup, and he's not that important. But Brandon Dozier is the only guy that we know will be out for the defensive secondary for the Stampeders. The underdog is 9-1 against the spread in the last 10 meetings between these two rivals, just a couple hours apart on the highway, 2.5, 3 hours, depending on how fast you're driving. And that's not the reason why I'm on the Elks here. But Nick Arbuckle, look, he's throwing interceptions, but Kenny Lawler and Emmanuel Arsenault are deep threats, and they're going to create chemistry with Arbuckle. They're just too good. The wide receiving tandem is too good. And James Wilder, we've seen what he can do here in Toronto.
I think Arsenault's washed up a little bit, but go on.
Well, look, he was a BC Lion.
Yeah.
And I watched him spread defenses and make big plays. And maybe that's a little bit of my just being a fan of the team.
He's been great. He's obviously had a great career. I'm just saying he's not what he once was, in my opinion. Yeah.
I feel you. The Elks are the only team in the league allowing more yards per game than the Stampeders. The Stampeders defense is holes all over it. So Brandon Dozier is on the 6-game IL. So look, I think the Elks can put up points. I thought that 19.5 team total was too low. I'm on the team total over 19.5 points. I'm on the Elks plus 8.5, and I'm actually coming in here pretty confident. Take it away here, Babano, Elks, Stamps.
Yeah, it's still bet against Edmonton or pass for me until proven otherwise. I've cashed in twice against them this season. BC first week, Saskatchewan last week. Although that was a sweat right till the end with the Riders. It was not a cinch by any stretch. They actually had to pull themselves out of a mini deficit to come back in the fourth quarter and take that game, win by 10 in that game. So I'll give them credit for that. Edmonton. I'll give Edmonton credit. Better. Although that's not saying much, better than they were against BC. No question about that last week. I mean, there was definitely some progress. The defense improved, although a lot of that is Saskatchewan's got some offensive issues. They really do. And we saw that last night in the loss against Montreal. Fajardo doesn't look like he's taken a step forward. The O-line's not as good, I think, as it's been in the past for Saskatchewan. I still need to see them go up against a pretty solid offense and before I can buy in. Calgary, Bo Mitchell had a terrible first half, and then a great second half. Which Bo Mitchell is it going to be here? But I think against this defense, which I don't have the faith in it yet, And Chris Jones defenses take forever for players to learn the terminology, learn the schemes, learn the concepts. That's always been the repeated mantra when he takes over a team. And I think you're going to see them struggle here. That being said, I've said this before breaking down this game this week. This is not a great spot for Calgary. This is not the same where, we're just going right to the betting window and fading Edmonton again. This wasn't that kind of decision for me this week because this isn't a great spot for Calgary. They're coming off a huge comeback in Hamilton. Now, they shouldn't have a flat spot. This is Edmonton. It's a division game. It's a rival. You should be up for it. But still, when you pull the kind of comeback you did against Hamilton last week, is there a hangover potentially? And I don't trust Calgary's defense laying 8.5, 9 at the moment. You watch that. If anyone watched that Hamilton game, there's holes all over that secondary. And if Trey Roberson doesn't play, that secondary is in even bigger trouble in this game and moving forward for the Stampeders. And that is definitely a concern. With a defense with all the holes that I see on it, and they gave up a bunch against Montreal. They had a horrible first half against my Ticats. I can't lay points with a defense, more than a touchdown with a defense that's having the struggles Calgary is. So this is the first week where I'm pumping the brakes, on fading Edmonton. But this is more, I don't trust Calgary laying points than a ringing endorsement of Edmonton is what I'm getting at. So I'm off the side. I am going to make the over an official play. I like the over in this game. I really do. I think the over gets there because I think Calgary scores on Edmonton. Kadeem Carey's back. This has been a horrible run defense. Horrible. This defense cannot tackle in the open field, Edmonton. That's the one thing they still didn't do against Saskatchewan, tackle in the open field. Bad news against Kadeem Carey for Calgary here in this game. They're going to run amok. They'll move the ball. But here's why I think Edmonton can have offensive success. You mentioned they've got some talent, and if Wilder plays, that's going to help. And Nick Arbuckle was with Calgary, backing up Bo Levi Mitchell, an understudy, gets to play his former team. The motivation's there. I want to beat these guys. I don't like what I've seen from Arbuckle, but man, if you ever want to maybe buy low on some Nick Arbuckle stock and say, hey, he's going to show up this week. He's going to play hard. He's going to play well. He's going to want it. It's going to be in a spot like this against a team where he's backing up Mitchell. He's going to want to play well. He's going to want to show out in this game. So I think you're definitely going to see Arbuckle step it up. And I think Edmonton can move the ball a little bit too, because I've got very real concerns about the pass rush for Calgary. They didn't have any against Dane Evans, and an offensive line with issues for Hamilton last week for much of that game. Secondary got picked apart, blown coverages all over the field. Hopefully Arbuckle's competent enough to take advantage of that with Lawler and Arsenault and some of these receivers, because if he can, there's going to be plays down the field for him. So I like over the total.
You have over the total. I'm very quite confident. I don't want to get carried away here, but I'm quite confident. I love the Elks in this spot. I think it's a bad spot for Calgary. I agree that in a provincial rivalry, it shouldn't be too bad of a spot. I think in the provincial rivalry, we've seen with these two teams, 9 out of the last 10 games they've played, the underdog is cashed. Why? Because it's a very important provincial rivalry. And I love the points. I love the team total over. I also think that Chris Jones is going to be able to work his magic with this team. He's a scary dude. There we go. I'm on the Elks plus 8.5. The team total over 19.5. Babano's on the over 49. Let's move on to the final game here and try to keep it quick because we got lots to do today. Toronto Argonauts 1-0 on the year against the Lions 1-0 here. Let's talk about the line movement in this one. This is Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. From a spread perspective, it opened with the Argos at +4, and the initial move was towards the Argos. And I agree with it. And all I've heard from everybody's Lions. And it's moved back to the Lions. The Lions, so we got to 3. It was at 3. And the 3 became juiced 9 hours after that, but no longer. 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5. 5-point favorites are the BC Lions. From a total perspective, it opened up at 48.5, and it's now at 50. The Lions opened up their season with a dominant 59-15 win at home over the Elks, and then had a bye week. So look, Rourke, 89.7% of his passes, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also runs for 2. Butler carries the ball for 108 yards this season. The Argos opened up their season with a bye week, followed that up with a 2019 win at home versus the Alouettes in a game where Montreal kicker David Cote missed a 21-yard game-winning field goal. The Argos have won just 4 of their last 24 road games. I don't want to back them on the road. Brandon Banks and Andrew Harris have injected some excitement to this offense, but did McLeod Bethel-Johnson really show what this offense could do? But I don't fully look. The Lions are a much improved team, but we shouldn't get carried away with that victory over the Elks in front of a packed BC Place Stadium. It's going to be even busier tonight. Sundil says, I'm all about the Lions. I once pretended to have a sister that was married to one of the players sneaking into a game with me. Yes, those were the days, man. Take it away here, Babano. Argos, BC Lions.
So I jumped on BC -3.5 because I am very high on this team, and so I actually agree with the move up to an extent. I think 5.5, and if it hits 6, I'm buying back a little on Toronto. I have to at that number and try to middle it, and that plus the fact that when you look at where this number is right now, -5.5 against Toronto. Toronto's got issues, but they're better on paper than Edmonton. We know that, and yet BC opened 3.5 against Edmonton last week, and now they're laying more than that here against what we think is a better Toronto team compared to Edmonton. So that's the issue. That's the internal debate that I have. So I'm certainly not giving BC on the show as an official play at the current number. Do I want to take Toronto as an official play at the current number yet? No, I'd want 6 or more. But the more it goes higher, the more I'd be interested in buying back a little bit on Toronto. But here's my issue with the Argos. They never win in BC. They have consistently, Jimmy, been horrible out west. Doesn't matter whether it's been Calgary, whether it's been Edmonton, and certainly in BC, this has been a horror show in BC Place for this team. I mean, they have just been pathetic here for years, if not decades. And I think the last time they played in BC was 55-8. It was an ugly, ugly loss. And here's my problem with Toronto. McLeod Bethel-Thompson is the problem. All right. I still don't think of this guy as an elite quarterback in this league. He's not. They win because the defense is pretty solid. They win because I think the coaching makes him out to be a better quarterback than he is. The offensive play calling actually from Dinwiddie's not bad on this football team. But I think in terms of just the raw talent, it's not there for MBT compared to other quarterbacks. I think I think Bo Mitchell's best game is better than him. Nathan Rourke, I think, is going to have a better CFL career than him. Zach Collaros is better than him. Fajardo's struggled late this year, but I think he's done more in this league than MBT. There's a lot of quarterbacks that I think Dane Evans, I'd put him ahead of MBT. He beat MBT last year in the playoffs. So, that's the issue right now for Toronto is I think the quarterback holding them back a little bit. Do I like parts of this team? Yeah, I think the trench play has improved. They brought in a lot of talent. The defense is very solid. There's lots to like with Toronto, but I don't love the quarterback play. BC, I'm buying into Nate Rourke, James Butler, Lucky Whitehead, and Brian Burnham. I love that quartet that they have on offense. And say what you will about Toronto's defense last week, but they faced Adams and Harris coming off the bench. It's going to be tougher, I think, for that defense here against BC, who has extra time to prepare, get ready for this game. So I think BC wins and covers. I do, but I liked it better at the number I got. Now that it's trickling up to 5.5, even with Toronto's historical woes in BC, to put BC -5.5 against Toronto when they were only 3.5 against Edmonton, and we all agree Toronto's better than Edmonton. It feels like, wow, it is a little bit carried away with where the number is now. So if it hits 6, I will buy back on Toronto. I will make another over an official play, though, for this game. I think we will get there with points. BC's defense is still the concern for me. I know they were great in week 1, but there was a blowout game. Edmonton kind of called off the Dogs late when they were way behind. They knew they couldn't come back. They got to still show me they could go out there and defend here against Toronto. Toronto could have lost last week should have lost. David Cote makes that field goal. They're 0-1, Toronto, going into this game. But they got the missed field goal. I think, though, the Argos offense can move it enough, and I think BC will get theirs. I buy into this offense. I love the creativity. I love the running ability of Rourke. It's a huge difference maker, and I think, obviously, weather won't be a factor. I think the game goes over the total.
You get the over 50.5. Pinnacle's already moved it to 5.5, by the way. Over 50.5 at -109. You got 49 at -112 in the other one. There is your CFL breakdown. I'm going to wait and see how high the Argos get, and I'm going to wait and see how high the Tiger Cats get. But I am on the Elks +8.5 and the team total over 19.5. And Babano's on those two overs. We move on to NHL, Babano, and one of the very rare times all year, very, very rare for whatever reason. Gokster
We
and
can
I
get
are on,
49.5 with that Toronto BC total. 49.5's out there.
but don't you want to go? Oh, Jesus, on the Toronto BC total.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. I will. Do you see where is it?
Bet online.
Oh, wow. Shit. Okay. My
BOL.
bad.
Yep. Minus 115. Yep.
Okay. So, great call. Sorry about that, man. Over 49.5 and minus 115. Okay. We move on to NHL. So, one of the rare, very, very rare times this year, Mr. Gokster and I are on the exact same action. And look, it's public, and I'm sure they're going to be sharps on the other side of the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I can't do it. I think the run is over here, and this Lightning team can't score on the power play. They need Braden Point carrying the puck. They need Point bad. And now that Kadri is back, it's just there's an overwhelming advantage at forward for the Avalanche, and Hedman can't do it all. And now that Cernak is hurt, look, with Johnson and Bowen Byram playing a ton of minutes, it's not like the Avalanche have this great defense. The Samuel Girard injury did hurt them, but Cale Makar is very good, and the Avalanche are a runaway train right now because I don't see how the Lightning score out. I'm watching them play, and I'm like, the Avalanche are having all these opportunities, and the Lightning aren't. And the Lightning were outshot the Avs, 17-4 in the first period, and look, the McKinnon goal, the two goals the Avs scored were greasy goals. And we know what Vasilevsky's record is in elimination games. It's spectacular. But I just think that the injuries are catching up and the legs are getting heavy and it's over. It's over. I'm on the Avalanche -1. I got -104. It's a little worse now. You get it -110 now, but I got -170 on the money line and plus 160 on the puck line, and the team total under 2.5. And again, I'm still keeping my unit size at $125. And thank God, because I've had a bad run in the Stanley Cup Finals, and I didn't want it to cost me too much money because I'm guaranteed all this money coming in from my futures. And the futures would have looked a little better if the Lightning had won. Whatever. So we talked about Cernak. We talked about Braden Point. We haven't had an update, but I don't expect them to the fact that Eric Johnson has to be out there and is now Cale Makar's partner shows that this Avalanche team is not, they can be beaten. And the Blues, they were lucky to get by the Blues. Those were the only two home losses, by the way, for the Avalanche were the Blues. But if you were watching the overtime, who cares if they had called that? I guess if they had called that too many men on the ice, there would have been a power play for the Lightning. And who knows, even though Lightning aren't scoring anything on the power play, but the Avs were all over them. And I expect it to continue. Over the last 10 games, the Avs are scoring 4.5 goals a game. The Lightning are scoring 2.7, and it's starting to catch up to them. So that's my take here. I know it's public, and I think the public will take care of business tonight. When we take a look at where the cash lies in this one, you have 74% of the tickets on the Avalanche and 90% of the cash. 79% of tickets on the over, 73% of cash on the over. I'm also on the Lightning team total under 2.5. Take it away, Babano. We got a lot of baseball to get to, but this is a big one tonight. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final in Colorado.
Yeah, I don't underestimate the heart, the will, the guts of Tampa Bay. I will talk about how concerned I am, though, for their gas tank and the health. And that's the issue, right? It's the gas tank and the health. The will is there. It's like Rick Jeanneret, whose speech almost brought me to tears when he left the broadcast booth. The mind is willing, but the flesh is weak. That's the Tampa Bay Lightning. The mind is willing, but the flesh is weak. And I think that's where they're at right now. There's no way Kucherov's 100%. There's no way Nick Paul's 100%. There's no way Hedman's 100%. He looks like he's had a hard time moving around at times. There's no fucking way after the last game and the shot blocking machine that he is, that he took a couple in terrible positions that were unprotected. There's no way Eric Cernak is 100% after that game, and he's counted upon, to be one of the last lines of defense for this Tampa Bay team. They just, I think, have hit the wall right now. Tampa Bay, like I say, they want the cup. They want the third cup. They're not going to go down without a fight. But again, the mind is willing, flesh is weak. And I think Colorado's too good to not pounce on a team with their flesh being weak. And I think that's what you're going to see here tonight. So there's really nothing more to add. They've been terrific at home all year, all playoffs. The cup is in the building, and Nate McKinnon answered a good question from Van Pelt the other night on ESPN saying, basically, yeah, we're human beings. We're going to know it's in the building. We're going to think about it a little bit, but it's not going to alter the process we need to go through in the game to get the job done. We know what we have to do. We know how we have to play. And that's not going to change just because the Stanley Cup's in the. So I like that response. It's a mature response. It shows requisite focus. It shows that, hey, keep your eyes on the prize. Don't start thinking ahead. And I think Colorado will close it out tonight. So I have 3 bets here. I have Colorado -1.5 plus 150 puck line. Because in a game like this, elimination game, and if they're leading late, why would you lay -180? Go for the puck line. The empty net's going to be there. John Cooper is one of those coaches, too, that pulls the goalie even earlier than a lot of other coaches. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities for a margin for Colorado late in the game. So I like the plus 150 puck line. I'm on Colorado team total over 3.5 plus 110 at Pinnacle as well. Just asking them to get 4 goals. I think they can do that here in this game 5 tonight. And I'm also going to go with over 6 plus 102, which is a go-to kind of elimination game bet for me because, again, you could get shenanigans and you could get all kinds of goal-scoring explosions in the third period, especially with Tampa Bay trailing. So puck line Avs, team total Avs, full game over for me for tonight.
I love it. I love your action. Raymond Reichard, I guess in this game, 60 minutes was probably a wiser bet, but I always make the -1s. And I think it's the fan in me, in all honesty. When it gets to overtime, I want to cheer for a team and get the push. I really do think it's more of just I enjoy the bet more. Dennis Garcia, I love capping with him so much. I think he's such a sharp capper, and I'd be remiss if I didn't, at least answer his comment here. Dennis Garcia says they both blown out each other once. Colorado won 2 OT games. Imagine what Jimmy would be saying if Tampa had won both OT games. This number is absurd. I have to bet Tampa Bay regardless if I like it or not. And that's the only way you could bet them, is regardless if you like it or not. We knew that the series would be in the Colorado's favor as it went on. And when Babano was talking about the block shots, he didn't mention Stamkos. Did you see the 3 block shots Stamkos had? One clearly hurt him. And
Yeah.
he's just.
There's another one. Exactly. Great call. Yeah.
But he's been so spectacular in playoffs. But these guys are beaten up. And you can say both teams are beaten up.
No, I know
Sure.
Colorado's got injuries too, and we're going to find some shit out about the Avs, about some of their players playing through stuff. No question about that. You have that with every team, especially in the Stanley Cup Final when you go this deep. But to me, I think there's more going on injury-wise and from a negative in terms of team health with Tampa right now than Colorado. That's just the way I see it.
I agree. And so he says, imagine what Jimmy would be saying if Tampa Bay had won both OT games. Well, when we watched the Game 4 OT game, unfortunately, I had the Lightning, and now I was on the -1 line, but I would have pushed both the total and the -1. So there was a lot of grabs. It was horrific having a Lightning ticket in your pocket for the overtime. It was all Avalanche all the time because as the series goes on and as the game goes on, that big break before coming into the Stanley Cup Finals is going to help the Colorado Avalanche. So what if Tampa had won both OT games? Look,
good
Tampa's
call by
best
Flat
chance-
too.
and
Third
Tampa-
period, highest scoring period, plus 190. That's a great bet. Great bet. I will be betting that. It won't be official play for the show, but I will be betting that.
So, look, Game 1 was Tampa's chance. Game 3 and Game 4 at home was Tampa's chance. There's a reason why I said this series would be over in 5 games in the beginning of it. Game 5 at home, the tired team of the Avalanche will start showing, and the speed will start showing with Colorado. And look, Dennis, you're on the sharp side. And I love capping with you, and I'm totally comfortable and enjoy, when we're on the other side of things. But I have to answer that. And imagine what Jimmy would be saying if the Lightning.
It's okay to disagree. Yeah.
Yeah, and imagine what Jimmy would be saying if the Lightning had have won 1 or 2 of those games. The Lightning had no chance last game in overtime. It was horrific. It was like the ice was like, tilted. It was I hated every second of it. Okay. AOD, I do not taste the pigeon feathers, but when you mention it, I start tasting it again. There we have it. Spreadsheet play of the day is the Avalanche in regulation at -105. I love that bet. Babano's on the Avs, -1.5 at plus 150. Avs team total over 3.5 at plus 110, and the over 6 at plus 102. And look, Dennis, I'll be sort of cheering for you. It'll cost me $250 if I lose these two bets, but if the Avs have a chance to win this thing, it'd pay out more for me. So, all right. Stella Girl says Tampa Bay Lightning are flying all of their full-time employees to this Game 5. That tells me what I need to know. That's interesting. I didn't know they were doing that, Stella Girl. And respect. Great to have you in chat. All right, there we go. NHL locked up. Gokster and I are on the Avalanche -1 and the Lightning team total under 2.5. Babano's on the Avs -1.5 at +150. Avs team total over 3.5 at +110 and the over 6 at +102. It's time to get into MLB. And I love this card. I find it absolutely fascinating. Although most of the moves I wanted to make, I couldn't end up making. They just didn't all correlate for us. Babano, you're coming off a rough,
dismal week.
Yeah. Last Friday, rough one. The overs hurt, but your overall record is what's important. They'll always
be for one though.
Sorry, my man.
So we were due for one though.
Yeah, they're going to come and go, but what your overall record is what's important, and there it is on the screen: 48 and 41 plus 4.02 units.
Still good, yeah.
Yeah, hitting a 53.9% ROI plus 4.52%. Still good without a doubt. An average line -106. There's my guy, Officer 50 Ayashela. Let's get to work right now and attack. And this first game is one that you would, and just a review of myself yesterday, I was very uncomfortable with the card. I went 1-1, down 0.1 units. I lost the game live with you guys, that first 5 under 5 in the San Francisco Atlanta. It was a terrible bet. I cashed the under 3.5 first 5 in Oakland, and then I just focused on CFL to put money in my pocket, and it did just that. Let's go MLB. Let's get to work, and we start with a real nice one here. And a lot of people have been talking about it. 6:40 p.m. Eastern, New York Mets 45 and 26, 21 and 16 on the road at the Miami Marlins, 32 and 36, 18 and 14 at home. We're at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. We have Taijuan Walker and Sandy Alcantara, two pitchers that just faced the opposition. Taijuan Walker having a very good season. Scherzer, him have become quite close, and he's just, sponging off of Scherzer, and you can see it with his season. 5-2, 2.88 ERA, 1.16 WHIP, 59 and a third, 44 Ks, 17 walks, just 3 home runs allowed. Saturated going for the no-run first inning. I'm really uncomfortable when you have these two starters who have been very good this year, but just faced the opposition and were lights out. That's what we're dealing with. It was a 3-2 win at home for the Mets, and Taijuan Walker went 6 2/3, allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 9 Ks, 1 walk. Sandy Alcantara would probably win the Cy Young in the National League if the season ended right now. And he was very good in the 6-2 win at the Mets last out. He went 8 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 8 Ks, and 1 walk. He's got a 1.72 ERA, 0.96 WHIP. He's been excellent. And maybe he'll just be excellent again. Maybe, it wouldn't surprise me if he's excellent again. Mets first righties, 267, 746 OPS. They're very good. Marlins are very good too, 253, 739 OPS. The Marlins bullpen has fallen apart of late, 4.33 ERA, 1.36 WHIP, converted 16 of 27 saves. Mets bullpen, 3.68 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, converted 18 of 29 saves. So let's just take a look at the line history here. In this spot, we have the market moving towards the Marlins. As of last night, there had been a 10-cent move to them. We get to 808 this morning, and there's another 10-cent move. I'm trying not to think of Kanye West. A 20-cent in total move towards Miami. It totals opened up at 7.5, went down to 7, back to 7.5, went down to 7, and it's back at 7.5. And now it's juiced quite heavily to the over at 7.5. And when it was at 7 and 3.5, you could get an inkling that this was going to happen because there was big bets coming in on the over. And we have 48% of the tickets and 89% of the cash on the Marlins. So if you're going to see a lineup a second time, in 5 days, trust the guy who could win or would win the Cy Young if it ended right now.
Trust the better pitcher, and that ain't Taijuan Walker in this matchup.
I agree. And it's changed. So this has changed quite a bit in the last 2 hours. It's interesting that it's changed so much, and it's moved up to 7.5 in the last 2 hours. Now there's 57% of tickets and 51% of cash on the under. But this had 67% of cash on the over when the early tickets were being counted. And on a huge card like this, with all this opportunity, what has hurt me in the past in MLB? It's when I trust pitchers who are seeing the lineup again 5 days later, and it's when I go up against market moves. When you combine those two things, I'd prefer not to have a bet on this game, even though the Marlins and the first 5 under were the first things that jumped out at me on this board, other than Manoah and the Blue Jays. So with all that being said, I hope I gave you some okay information. Unfortunately, I don't want anything to do with it. Take it away, Babano. Mets, Marlins.
Yeah, this is Marlins first 5 full game split for me. We'll do a split bet here with the Marlins. We know I've been shocked at how good they've been against righties this year, because I came into the year thinking, the lineup's okay, but it's not a lineup I love. And here they are. They've been consistently in the top 10 pretty much for the whole year. OPS against right-handed pitching. It's been very impressive from the Marlins. Sandy Alcantara's money. He is a bet-on pitcher all the way, even more so at home. The Mets are coming off, a series against Houston. They lost 2 in a row. All of a sudden, they've lost 3 of the last 4. And with this Mets team the last few years, they can be freaking streaky. And we've seen them go on some massive losing streaks. Things go well for a while, and then things kind of don't go well. I don't trust Walker as much as I trust Alcantara. Alcantara's been great at home, 5-2 in his home starts this year. Again, I think the Marlins righty numbers are excellent. Going into this year. Again, you're talking about pitchers that faced the other team just last weekend in that series with the Mets and the Marlins. I trust the better pitcher to be better the second time around compared to the inferior arms. So for me, Miami first 5, Miami full game.
Let's lock you in with that. If we could help with the line shopping, I should pull up Bookmaker, because it's the only other book other than Pinnacle and Circa that have been beating or getting comfortable lines. We have right now at Pinnacle, the and I'm going to keep line shopping. I'm just going to write this in as we talk about it. We have the Marlins full game at -129 and first half at -147. I'm going to see if I can beat that here. The couple other books, if anybody can, let us know. Gas Report says, so Mets 9-0 with day off, not a factor for you, Babano.
That's a nice stat. I will say that, of course, definitely. It's 9-0 with a day off sphere, and it's obviously good for the bullpen. For any team, when they have a day off, it means all the key arms, the key relievers are fresh, they're available. If need be, they get rest. That's definitely something to keep in mind. But no, I don't mind fading Walker, so I don't mind going against the 9-0 with the day rest.
And then we are going to go over here to Circa and see if we can beat these lines quickly. If anybody else can, let us know. And Isaiah B saying that the Mets haven't lost 3 in a row all season long. And we have a -136 for the full game. Wow, that's 7 cents worse. So I imagine the first 5 will be bad too. -145, it's 2 cents better. I'll pull up Bookmaker, but that's the best lines we have right now. If anybody can beat that, please let us know, because it's very difficult giving out these lines that are available to bet right now instead of locking them in earlier the night before. All right, let's move on. Babano is on the board with 2 spots, and I am staying off. Coin saying Alcantara's FIP is in decline the last 6 games in succession. Says this guy is in a great groove right now. Big Show found a -150 on Bovada. So we got -145, -129. All right, we move on to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Wow. If this is the AL Championship Series, we're in for a beauty. Houston Astros and New York Yankees. Man, when Dutch Boy Fresh was on the Astros first 5, and he broke down the stats why he was on it during the daily session, I was sitting there thinking, but you have the best bullpen in the league for the Astros, and maybe it's the opposition that the Astros have played that is part of the reason why their bullpen numbers are so good. Maybe that's it. Thank you, Billy. So what, -133 and -145. Okay, cool. So we're in business here. Jedi for Life says the Yankees are majestic. That was unbelievable. The comeback at the bottom of the 9th and seeing, Yankee Stadium popping like that. It's great for baseball. We go back to the Yankee Stadium in Bronx, New York, Game 2. Let's start with the weather.
Beautiful if you're a Yankee fan. If you hate them, it's nauseating.
There's still they're the most storied team. Look, I don't like them at all. But they're the most storied team in the sport. And, the Bronx is the Bronx, baby. I mean, there's something magical about it. There's no doubt about that. But I hear you. 76 Fahrenheit at first pitch. The weather is right to left. 8.7 miles per hour goes down to 6.8 miles per hour. We have line history next up in this spot. Severino versus Verlander, both coming off rough performances. There's been a 15-cent move to the pinstripes. Yankees go from -115 to -130. When we look at the totals, we have a 7.5 juice to the over. It's now at the pick'em. So very little there. Let's go to the cash flow. And the cash flow in this one has 8,095 tickets in. 30% of the tickets, 39% of the cash is on Houston. And the market moving in the opposite direction. 60% of the tickets are on the over. There's my guy, Nut Flush. Alan says the entire Nut Flush family riding in the truck headed to Vegas. He says, shout out to Lily Gunn for getting us VIP tickets for Kristen's birthday to see Luke Bryan at Resorts World Casino. Man, what a special family they have. They are my inspiration for my family for sure. All of you guys traveling to Vegas puts a big smile on all of our faces. Drive safe and then get that cash and have fun.
Have fun, my friend. Oh, I love those two. Mike and Kristen.
What a family. What a family. Great kids, great couple. What a family.
Yep.
Astros, Yankees. Justin Verlander, 8-3, 2.30 ERA, 0.89 whip, 82 1/3, 81 Ks, 15 walks, and 10 home runs. His last start, he got touched. It was a 7-0 loss at home to the White Sox. He went 3 2/3, 9 hits, 7 runs, 4 of which were earned, no homers, 3 Ks. Christopher Carter says, Johnny K says the Yankees are overrated, and they aren't overrated.
I agree they are. They're overvalued now for sure. 100% true, but they just keep finding a freaking way to win. That's the problem.
And not until they start getting the injury bug. We know the injury bug is going to happen, and they seem to handle the Stanton and Donaldson injuries because they were kind of simple injuries. But they handled them, and the injury bug is going to hit this team, and I hope it hits them soon because they're now 52-18. Luis Severino coming off a 10-9 loss at the Blue Jays. They touched him up. 5 innings, 3 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 9 Ks, 2 walks, but he's got a great season. They both had great seasons. So Verlander, 2.30 ERA, 0.89 whip. Severino, 3.27 ERA, 1.06 whip. Astros are hitting 243, 749 OPS versus righties. Yankees, harder than that, 257, 73 OPS. These 4 teams that we've talked about so far rake righties. And the Astros bullpen 2.68 ERA, 1.12 whip, converted 19 of 24. Yankees bullpen 2.88 ERA, 1.12 whip, have converted 25 of 35. Take it away. Drug Monkey RX says Yankees are monsters. Stop hating. Why are you always hating? Take it away, Babano, Astros, Yankees.
Give me another over. It's just too low for these two lineups. I mean, I was on the over last night, and people were hemming and hawing and saying to me, I don't know about that with Valdez. I don't know about that with Tyone, with the way that both of them were pitching. And what was the score after the first, 3 innings, 6-3? And I already had gone over the total. I don't like the way Verlander's trending. I don't. And the thing that bothers me the most about both of these guys right now, Verlander and Severino, even though their numbers overall are very strong, the home run ball is victimizing them. Verlander's been giving up long balls. Severino's been giving up home runs. And Severino didn't have his greatest start last time out either. And you look at the way these two lineups are mashing right now. Ask Yankee Rays fans how they felt with unders in that series, and they see the Yankees lineup, which is just a machine right now, just pile on runs late in the game and send the game over the total. Happened multiple times in that series. I think you're going to see that tonight. I mean, it's just 7.5 with these two lineups. I'm always interested right now with over the total, and that's what I like.
All right, well, let's lock you in here on the over. I stayed off yesterday's game, and I'm very close just to staying off of this one. The over 7.5 is -108.
I like the over. I like the Yordan Alvarez props even more. I mean, over 1.5 total bases plus 100 is insane. That's all it is. And home run prop, might as well tack that one on. He had one last night, big 3-run bomb. Yordan Alvarez props just daily for me. I mean, it's unbelievable how that guy is just consistently just getting it done. I think he's gone over 1.5 total bases, like 8 of the last 10 or 9 of the last 11. It's crazy.
Do you want to make that official?
I don't normally do. Let's do that. I like that one. I mean, the home run prop's a little more risky, but over 1.5 total bases plus 100 at 365, 100%. I'm gonna
All
be
right.
betting that. So might as well add it.
Yeah, and I believe Noli knows his cash with a Yordan Alvarez prop as well. It's same thing, 1.5 bases at plus 100. So got it, book it. Colf Coleon, the Vegas King. My guy Colf Coleon says over. It does seem like the play. Dami Gunricci says Astros win one game this series, and that's versus Cortez is his prediction. There's Senka. Senka, we've missed you. It is great to see you. Happy Friday to you, Senka. We've missed you. Great to see you in the chat. And there's Daryl Lyles. A lot of these cappers that have been with us.
I was going to say the old coffee brand Sanka, but it's spelled differently. So never
Senka's
mind
a
that.
great capper. A lot of fun to have hanging with us. Daryl Lyles says the game to win in the series was last night for the Astros. Yankees run line. Don Max says wouldn't be surprised if Verlander's arm is tiring. It has been 3 years. Well, I mean, what do you mean? He didn't pitch last year. Johnny K has a 4-2 Astros final score. Stella Girl says all over the total home run over 1.5 at minus 130. Stella Girl, and she hit it last night. Where'd you bet that? Because our guy Deacon Mike, that was his prop, and he was incredible. And I guess he took Bovada for so much cake that they pulled it. And so we're trying to find a book for Deacon to bet that. So I'd love to hear where you are betting that. We would love to hear that. Okay. Thank you, Sanka. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice cash. It was just very easy. CFLs, it's not always going to be easy. But Babano, is it fair to say, and I've felt this since I stood for 25, 30 years, I've felt this my whole life, that in CFL, there are simple spots, in my estimation, more simple than in any other sport. And when I was younger, when I first, 21 to 26, I would book full Vegas trips around one CFL game and aim to have that CFL game pay for the trip. Now, it didn't always work, but actually worked 4 out of 5 times. So only one time, but the one time, of course, it doesn't work. It really hurts the trip. Babano, do you agree with that sentiment that the CFL seems to be, especially early in the year and at the end of the year? Early in the year and in the middle, it gets a little tricky. But what do you think?
I agree with that, definitely. And look, I've crushed CFL football betting for a decade, so I totally agree with that. It is a beatable market. It is a beatable sport, spot-wise. And it's more that just you have more info at your disposal than the odds makers do. It's not even close. I mean, you get TSN covering the league wall-to-wall here, especially if you're in Canada. There's so many great websites. 3 Down Nation does a great job covering the CFL, and the injury info and the beat writers that write for the respective teams on that site do a terrific job. And there's absolutely ways you can know more as a bettor about the CFL than anything the odds makers do. And often your opinions are going to clash with what they put out there, and it makes for great opportunities. I agree.
Yeah, and the 9-team league.
Yeah, you can really, know each team very well.
All right, we move on. We have Babano making moves on both the early games, and I have not. Marlins first 5 minus 145, full game minus 129. Babano's on the over 7.5 in Astros Yankees at minus 108, and Yordan Alvarez over 1.5 bases at plus 100. We move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Boston Red Sox 39-31, 19-15 on the road at the Cleveland Guardians 36-29, 16-10 at home. We're at Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio, the land, baby. Let's see what we're dealing with from a weather perspective. 81 Fahrenheit, clear, 4 miles per hour in, dies down to 3.1, and then 2.9 miles per hour sideways. So wind's not a factor in this one. Let's take a look at the line history that we are dealing with here in this one. Pavetta versus Cal Quantrill, Paul's nephew or son? Is it? I get the Plezaks and the. Is it Paul Quantrill's son? Cal?
Yeah, Cal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Because I
Cal
know that
Quantrill.
Plezak, it's Plezak's uncle.
Yep.
And okay. So we have the Red Sox opening up at minus 115. They get to minus 130 at 7:30 this morning. Then it comes back 10 cents. So only a 5-cent move towards the Red Sox thus far. And this total, an hour and 10 minutes ago, moved to 9 from 8.5. That's what we are dealing with. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this one. I love the idea. I can close my eyes and imagine the Nutflush Allen family driving to Vegas right now, and they're listening to us break down these bets, and Nutflush is just thinking about, just numbers over and over, like all the analytics, how he's going to bet this, how he's going to make this cash, how he's going to pay for the trip in Vegas. Oh, what a
it's all the same shit we think about every day. Yeah. How am I going to pay my bills for the next 30 days? Oh yeah, we got to win some bets. That's how.
And we've been doing that.
Yeah.
So let's go Red Sox Tribe, 7,073 tickets in, 59% of the tickets, 66% of the cash on the Red Sox. And we don't have a cash amount for the total. We just know that 54% of tickets are on the under, and we know that it moved from 8.5 to 9 an hour and 10 minutes ago. But that 8.5 kept getting bet over to the over. Cove Coleon says, on my Red Sox, first 5. Nick Pivetta, 7-5, 3.31 ERA, 1.09 whip, 81 2/3, 82 Ks, 29 walks, and 8 home runs. Last out, he looked very good at home versus Cardinals. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 10 Ks, and 4 walks. Moose Money, great capper, and you can catch Moose Money on our nightcap show, and I'd like to get him here on this show as well. Respect Moose Money. He says, took the full game under plus bullpens. Pivetta has looked great in Quantrill at home, whereas fly ball tendencies play better. That is well put. DC says Guardians are 7-0 in their last 7 during game 1 of a series. Guardians are 6-0 in their last 6 following a loss. Wow. Couple angles there for Cal Quantrill and the Guardians. Quantrill has not, Quantrill had a bad start last out, but at the Dodgers, and we know what the Dodgers can do to righties, and the other Guardian pitchers had kind of sliced through that lineup, and then he got touched. 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, and 1 walk, but 3.77 ERA, 1.26 whip on the season. Red Sox are 257, 723 OPS versus righties. Guardians 258, 733 OPS versus righties. Hard to believe that at this point in the year, the Guardians would be hitting righties better than the Red Sox. Red Sox bullpen 3.80 ERA, 1.21 whip, converted 16 of 30 save opportunities. The Guardians bullpen's been really good all year, 2.94 ERA, 1.08 whip, converted 19 of 26 save opportunities. And I was thinking of Jose and these Red Sox last night because I was like, my goodness, they're 39-31, and the Jays are 39-30, and the Red Sox got off to this horrific start. And immediately they're back in business here with this record. I was like, oh, God, this AL East is a nightmare. Take it away here, Babano. 3rd game on our card, Red Sox Guardians.
Yeah, they are. They've done a great job after a horrible start, bouncing back. And one of the reasons they've been able to bounce back is because of our fellow countryman here, Nick Pivetta. He's been very good for the Boston Red Sox, giving them everything you could ask for. You look at it's just been a picture of quality for Nick Pivetta. Really, even the White Sox start, he gave up 3 runs. He had one start where he gave up more than 3 runs in his last 8, and that was against the Angels. Outside of that, a run in 7 innings to St. Louis, 1 run in 8 brilliant innings against Oakland, shut out Oakland in 7 innings, shut down Baltimore, gave up just 1 run, just 3 runs to the White Sox, 1 run, a complete game against the Astros, 1 run, 7 innings against Texas. It's just been fantastic the way he's pitched. 3.31 ERA overall, and that's after kind of a shaky start. So, I would say even in the last 8 games, it's better than a 3.31 ERA. So he's a bet-on pitcher for me. And Boston playing good ball. I'm not in a rush to fade them. I'm not in a rush to fade Cleveland, though, either, and Quantrill at home especially. Quantrill 3.16 ERA at home, 4-2 Cleveland in his 6 home starts this year. You look at the recent home starts he's made, he has allowed 3 runs or less in just about every home start and has given his team a chance to win. In fact, with Quantrill on the mound, they're 4-1 in the last 5 with Quantrill on the mound at home. So this is 2 pitchers I'd like to bet on and 2 teams I'd like to bet on rather than bet against. So you know where I'm going, and that's pass.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And when we go over,
I do lean under, though. I don't agree with this move up. I don't. Like, are they betting it because it's going to be hot in Cleveland? Maybe. Are they betting it because it's going to be maybe a wind blowing out situation? Maybe. But with these 2 pitchers, I'm not looking over the total. I'll tell you that.
And Quantrill 3.16 ERA, 3-0 at home. Opponents hitting .211 against them. Raymond Reichard talking about what we've discussed on the show. It's this Guardians team just makes contact. James F. says you guys need to come down to Phoenix. My guy Arian says we need to get a drink, all of us together. That's what we're trying to do. So right now we're raising funds so we can pay for all of the hotel rooms for anybody who wants to join us in Atlantic City. So we have a thing that we're doing now called Buy a Beer. And we have the link here. My man Jose will pop it into the chat. But that's what we want more than anything, is just all of us to hang out together. It's we spend so much time capping with each other, and we can finally, be in the same room, and it's absolute magic. It sounds boring that I'm
And
not
we know
moving.
San Antonio wasn't it? Yep.
Oh, it was so much fun, man. It was
Yep.
so much fun. I'm not moving on this game. And I have had, almost a 30-unit turnaround in the last, not even a month here. I'm sitting at 147 and 124, 54.2% plus 11.22 units ROI plus 4.14%, average line minus 108. And it just means everything to me to succeed. It means everything. The only thing that's more important than my succession here is my family, and they go hand in hand. The more I succeed in this, the better my family does. So I'm going to keep it tight. I'm just going to keep doing exactly what I'm doing. And thank God we have excellent MLB experts who are making moves on games I'm not. But we are both off of this spot. Let's move on to the next game, 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Pittsburgh Pirates 29-40, 12-10 on the road at the Tampa Bay Rays, 37-32, 22-15 at home. And you guys hear Pittsburgh Pirates, you probably have an image of in your head of Jose screaming his favorite two words in the English vocabulary. And I won't imitate it. It doesn't do it justice. The magic that Jose does give it. And he wants to talk Pirates, Rays. Let me set a quick table for you because on the bump, we have Helen Mitch Keller of the Pittsburgh coming off a nice start. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run, no homers, 4 Ks, 3 walks, and a 4-3 win at home versus the Giants. 4.72 ERA, 1.44 whip on the season. Going up against the lefty Jeffrey Springs, 3-2, 2 ERA, 0.98 whip, 54 innings, 56 Ks, 13 walks, 5 home runs allowed in those 54 innings. Last start, he went 4 1/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, no homer, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and a 7-6 win at the Orioles. He didn't look very good there. But the Pirates and the Rays don't hit the opposite hand. The Pirates don't hit lefties, 224, 654 OPS, and the Rays don't hit righties. I couldn't believe how bad they're hitting against righties now. 224, 657 OPS. And now they're 37-32, and they're in 4th place.
Yeah, Boston's passed them. Yep.
Yeah, in the AL East. Pirates bullpen, 4.24 ERA, 1.32 whip, 15 of 27. Rays bullpen, 3.04 ERA, 1.15 whip, have converted 20 of 36. So let's just give a quick touch on the line history. Here, the line history in this Rays spot against these Pirates who are moving in the right direction. This is where is it? What the hell's wrong with me? It's not here. Let me just give a cash flow and maybe pull up action odds here. The cash is 8,322 tickets in. 14% of the tickets and 27% of the cash on the Pittsburgh Pirates. 35% of tickets and 93% of cash on the under. That's a lot of money on this under. I wish I could talk about the line history. I'm going to get it. I'm going to pull up the Action Network right now. But let's bring on the star and host of Say Hey Plays, coming to us from San Antonio, Texas. Please welcome Jose Zenyatta Bouquet to the show. Jose, how are you?
Doing Wi-Fi kind of running a little slow today, so I might be a little choppy maybe, but not too bad. How are you guys?
We are good. How was yesterday for you? What is the record at right now?
It's a good question, Jim. I went 2-0 yesterday. I didn't end up moving on my last plays. And am I super choppy right now, Jim? I can see your face. You're giving me concern.
No, you're back. You're back. You're good. You're good now. You're good.
Okay. Beautiful. But yes, I went 2-0 yesterday. I only made those Pirates moves. My only other move would have been Astros first 5, which cashed, but I didn't end up making it official. That was just a lean. And it was like kind of the first say hey plays where I didn't make any moves. Only 3 plays, so kind of, handicap, or 3 games, I should say, kind of handicapped me. But overall, 228 and 217, up 14.38 units. Jim, you still have not caught me yet.
And I don't want to. I want you to get up to 20 and then 30 and 40 and succeed for us. This total I'm on the Action Network. It's gone from 7 to 7.5 at some books. Some are still hanging 7s. And we have the 15 to 20 cent line move, actually up to 30 cent line move to the Tampa Bay Rays. So there's the line history. And thank you for the Action Network for hooking that up for us. Before we hear the Say Hey Play of the Day, who is your guest on today's show?
It's Friday, so it's Connor Mack. Sorry, so I'm getting my days mixed up, but yes, Connor Mack.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we have a big Say Hey plays of the day today, 5:30 p.m. starting Connor Mack. What is your action here on Pirates Race?
I'm like I've told you guys for the last couple of days, I'm just going to keep riding the Pirates team totals. And I'll give this out officially too on the show. I'm going to bet, and I have bet O'Neal Cruz to win NL Rookie of the Year at plus 500.
Wow.
He's been my guy since he came up now. I told Jimmy yesterday, I believe it was, that O'Neal Cruz has now become my new Ohtani. I'm obsessed. The Pirates are appointment television for me now. I have not bet the money line, obviously, because betting that can be a treacherous proposition with the Pirates. Yesterday, they score it was 7-2, and then they capitulate and give up the lead late. And of course, they come back and win with a key Brian Hayes. And he gets hurt too, by the way. So he's probably not going to be in the lineup today. But Michael Chavis gets a sack fly, I think it was. No, it was a single, and then key Brian Hayes scores and gets hurt on the process. But I still like the Pirates today. I was kind of a little hesitant because obviously the Rays are a solid pitching squad. But the total at 7? I was like, oh, okay, well, this is going to be a reasonable team total for me, especially with them being dogs. A 3 right now is plus 105 on Bovada. So I will gladly take a team total of 3 here. And, give me just 4 runs. Pirates lose, that's fine. Just keep the offense chugging. O'Neal Cruz is the straw that stirs the drink. And officially, I'm obsessed.
It's a 2.5 over at Pinnacle at minus 120.
Oh, okay. I'll take that too then. Perfect. I'll do another ski ladder because 2.5 on Bovada is minus 145. And I know what Pete says about Bovada line or Pinnacle lines. If you get the best line at Pinnacle, then you're fucked. I could easily see this game being like a 6-0, a 6-1, and the Pirates, they get shut out because they're going from Pittsburgh when they went off a walk-off to Tampa Bay and all that good stuff. But I'm going to keep riding it. It's not really about the numbers when it comes to betting the Pirates at the end of the day. I could tell you they're shitty against lefties this last month. I believe it's like 80 weighted runs created plus, 27th in the league this month. But I'm all about the O'Neal Cruz show. I'm telling you guys, the O'Neal Cruz show is the show for me. He's gotten the boys going. The young Pirates, man.
Yep.
You guys watch out. The young Pirates have got a lot of juice.
I love it. James, no, I'm on the -1 line, which worked out to minus 104. But after Babano broke it down, I thought, I don't know really why I'm not on the puck line. But it is what it is, and maybe I add a little bit. Wow, that over 2.5 at minus 115 at BetMGM. Thank you for sharing that with us. I like it here. So a couple things before Babano breaks down. We had a question from Lee saying, what were the percentages again on the total? And these are the percentages. We've seen a couple books move it to 7.5, which is shocking because 35% of the tickets are on the under and 94% of the cash. So that's very confusing. We have Say Hey in team total over 2.5 minus 115, team total over 3 at plus 105. Let's hear what Babano has to say about this spot. Pittsburgh Pirates, Tampa Bay Rays.
I'm actually pretty much in line with what Jose's talking about because when I look at this Pittsburgh team, and there's going to be all these stats that say, oh, Pittsburgh against righties last 30 days, Pittsburgh against righties all season, Pittsburgh against lefties the last 30 days, Pittsburgh against lefties all season, and all the numbers are probably pretty bad, and I know they're pretty bad. This has not been a good offensive team. Throw them out, all right? Throw them in the garbage can. You're dealing with stale data. Think about the way this team has looked offensively since Monday when they brought Bly Madris and O'Neal Cruz up to this team. And look at what's happened. Look at all of a sudden the life. Look at the lineup. Look at the runs they've put up. Now, I know it was only one series and one team, the Chicago Cubs. I know. So let's see how they do moving forward. But you can't tell me there's now not a sudden pulse and an adrenaline rush and some life in this Pirates lineup. They're hitting right now. And everyone talking about that they're struggling against lefties. They faced a lefty in that series, Steele, for Chicago. How'd they do? 6 runs, 7 hits. Knocked him out in the 5th inning.
Yeah, that was yesterday, right?
Yes, yesterday against Steele and the Cubs. Throw out the old data. All right, this is a new Pirates team right now. They're hitting. There's confidence. These young kids have given this whole team an injection of life and enthusiasm, and I'm on the over in this game. Over 7. The Pirate team total I don't argue with, but I'm just going to stick to the full game over here because I don't trust Mitch/Helen Keller. I don't. Has pitched a little bit better lately, but I think the Rays can still end up doing some damage here. Springs to me is regression waiting to happen. I like Springs, but Springs isn't going to maintain this kind of ERA for long. I think the Rays can at least hit Keller a little bit, and the Pirates bullpen is still not good, and they almost blew it against the Cubs yesterday. So the Rays can, I think, probably score against a little bit against that Pirates bullpen that's also depleted. They had to use a lot of arms yesterday to hang on in that game in extra innings against the Cubs. So over 7 is a bargain to me with the Pirates. Pirates overs until proven otherwise right now for me because they are undervalued with their totals because of these two kids that they've brought up. And I would look at their props as well, Madris and Cruz right now. Total bases especially because these two guys are going to be they look like they're going to be the real deal in terms of hitters. I know it's one small sample size, maybe they're going to have their slumps, but right now they're looking like they're ready for the major league level. So over 7 for me here.
Over 7 -109 at Pinnacle. It's -121 over at Circa. Billy Friedrich says Babano seems a little angry. He seems a little fired up. That's what it seems. I don't know. This is Babano fired up. I love it.
Not fired up. It's just that you got to look at these finding change situations in a long season. And the change for Pittsburgh is these kids have come up, and all of a sudden this lineup's mashing the ball, and it's made everybody else hit better. It's given them a spark too. Brian Reynolds and Brian Hayes and everyone else in this lineup now see these kids come up playing well, and they're hitting too now. So I thought 7 again. My theory right now is for the next week or so, we're riding Pittsburgh overs, and I believe if we do that, we're going to be profitable and we're going to win more than lose.
Mark Schlimberg says Cruz looks good, but he's only hitting 205 up there. He looks a little bit like Michael Jordan with his swing. A little bit like Michael Jordan with his swing.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I would take a couple of them and look at Mike's and look at O'Neill's. But Babano over 7 at -109. Say hey play today. Pirates team total over 2.5 -115 and over 3 at +105. Man, exciting game. We're all over it here with Babano and Jose. Jose, have a great show. Say hey plays of the day starring Connor Mack today at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, and give us that spectacular record one more time, season long.
God damn it, Jimmy. When I fucking take it down, you ask me for it again. I'll pull it right back up again because I'm still ahead of you, Jimmy, you rapscallion. I'm up 14.38 units,
Nice.
228 and 217 this year. 11 pushes if you care. But yeah, it's been a good year. I can't wait. I'm glad that Ian now is I'm going to consider Ian my first mate on my pirate ship now. Welcome aboard, Ian. Welcome to the bandwagon. I'll send you your eye patch in the mail. And you guys know, Ian.
Not that much of a pirate fan, but thank you.
Whoa, Ian. Whoa. We'll give you the mutiny treatment real quick. But when I'm sad and when I get down and when I'm having a bad day gambling, do you guys know what I do?
I do.
You guys know what the fuck I do. When I don't know what to do, I close my eyes and I say, who are the Pirates playing? And now it's amazing. Raise it for the Pirates today.
Okay, there we go. We move on. 7:20 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Dodgers 43-25, 23-13 on the road at the Atlanta Braves, 41-30, 23-15 at home. The World Series just a few short months ago between these two squads, and we are back. We have the rematch of the Grey Cup. We have the rematch of the World Series. Julio Urias going up against Ian Anderson. We're at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's start with the weather in Atlanta, Georgia. 88 Fahrenheit, feels like 94, 7.4 miles per hour, right to left, slightly in. Right to left, slightly in. Becomes a little more in by the third hour. You know what? I should refresh this too. Why don't I give it a little refresher? and see if anything changes, because these weather reports do change. So it's a little lighter, 6.9 and 6.4. It goes down 6.4. Let's take a look at the line history in this one. Oh, yeah. Did I say this was yeah, my bad. The NL, yes. My bad. Okay, sorry. All right, sorry. But the most important series was the Dodgers-Braves. But yeah, my bad. Sorry, two NL teams in the World Series. My bad. Okay, let's go back to Urias and Anderson and the line history here. We have the Dodgers opening up at -120. They get all the way up to -140. Then there's a move back to the Braves, 15-cent move back to the Braves. As of the opening line, there has been a 15-cent move towards the Dodgers. Let's take a look at the total. The total opened up at 9, went up to 9.5, and it's come back to 9. It came back to 9 an hour and a half ago. Lance LaRose loving the over in this spot. Slow Jams Arsenault says Braves bats are hot right now. Max Wally says that strip club KO has brought something out of Jose. He says, Christopher Clementine says Jose ain't been the same since that trip to the strip club. Maybe not the same, but better. He's been better. Dodgers.
You see things. When you go to the strip club, you see things at that certain kind of night. They just change you. They change you. I mean, Jimmy, let's not forget this.
Oh, boy. Do we call it black? I knew it. I told you. Oh!
That's the cheapest thing I've ever seen. Please let her put her titties back in her shirt without taking an uppercut to the chin, a knockout punch. That's the cheapest thing I've ever seen. Can you show me one more time? I do like it a lot.
Oh, boy. Do we call it black? I knew it. I told you.
Oh, stop it. Oh, man. I could watch that over and over and over again.
By the way, the second date for
Slapping those Tiggle biddies.
The second date for Foxy Boxing has been scheduled for next month. Month.
Beautiful. Oh, beautiful. I got to fly in. For this. Okay. Dodgers, Braves, Urias, Anderson. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this big one. 7,843 tickets in, 36% of tickets, 30% of cash on Atlanta. So people trusting Urias against a team that rakes lefties. We saw Urias shut down the Phillies after he saw them back-to-back. After he got touched the first time, and we know what they can do to the lefties. 43% of tickets are on the under. 79% of cash is on the under. Urias, 4-6, 2.56 ERA, 1.02 whip. He's been excellent this year. 62 Ks and 70 and a third. Has allowed 12 home runs, but he's been very good. Last start, 7-1 win at home versus the Guardians. He went 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, no earned run, 6 Ks and 2 walks. Ian Anderson on the other side, coming off a really nice start in a 6-0 win at the Cubs. 6 2/3, 3 hits, no earned run, 6 Ks, 2 walks. James S., best of luck. Get that cash and have a great weekend. Thank you for hanging with us. Ian Anderson hasn't had a great season, but we saw what he could do in the most important situations last year, and he's a pitcher that I expect to get better down the stretch. Dodgers versus righties, 257, 776 OPS. Braves versus lefties, 263, 816 OPS. Dodgers bullpen, 3.40 ERA, 1.14 whip, 17 of 24. And this Braves bullpen's been so good, 3.09 ERA, 1.16 whip, 23 of 36 save opportunities. It looked a little rougher against the Giants last out, but a bullpen to be trusted. Take it away here, Babano. Big one. Dodgers, Braves.
Yeah, I like. I'm going to go with the over here. I am, even though I know Urias is playing well. Dodgers lineup is back on the beam again. They're hitting the ball. I'm going to buy into that. I don't trust Ian Anderson. And what do we know about Atlanta? They mash lefties, and their lineup's feeling pretty good right now. I'm going to go over the total here, over 9.
Over 9.
That's it. I'm going to try to shorten the analysis. We still do have a shit ton of games left, so there you go. No need to overstate it.
And Lee Davis has another public under. And wow, that's it's in my head. You have it's in my head. I did not know that was an angle, Lee. Lee, could you give us those numbers again on fading the public under? Very, very, very interesting angle, Lee. And that's exactly what Babano is doing. He's fading this public under. Let's see what we can get him on the over in this one. Going to go to Pinnacle. We have the over 9 at -105. Let's see if Circa can do anything to help us here. So over 9 -105 at Pinnacle, and over at Circa we have over 9 -112. So we'll give you that over 9 Babano over 9 at -105. All right, we are locked. And a load 42, 29, and 7 plus 11 units. That's very interesting. And that's fading a very public under, taking the over in a public under. Wow. That's great. Great angles. Love this. Okay. We move on. 8:05 p.m. Eastern. So Paolo Espino versus Dane Dunning. And I kind of like both these pitchers. So my first thought was the roof's going to be up in Globe Life Field. We have two pitchers that I think can be trusted to get enough soft contact. And Paolo Espino, it wasn't his fault that the first 5 went. Oh, I guess I was on him first 5 and I pushed it in that 8-7 extra inning home loss versus the Phillies. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 4 walks. And then Dunning coming off a rough start at the Tigers. He did not look good. 4 2/3, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 Ks, 4 walks. But neither team hits righties. Nats versus righties, 248, 692 OPS. Rangers versus righties, 235, 666 OPS. We know this is a ballpark where offenses can go to sleep. The Rangers bullpen, very good. The Nats bullpen, poor. And with all that being said, I wanted to take the first 5 under, but I could not do it. The cash was on the over, and I just did not want to go up against it. Let's talk about the line movement here in this Espino Dunning start. Just a 5-cent move to the Rangers, but there was an initial 20-cent move to the Rangers. The early action was on Dunning, and it came back. From a totals perspective, we have it opening up at 8.5. It lasted there for 5.5 hours, and it moved to 9. It got up to 9 at -120. It's come back 10 cents. So we'll take a look at the cash flow and see if we've had anything change in this Texas-Washington spot. They give slight line value to these Texas Rangers. At 6,645 tickets in, 15% of the tickets and 33% of the cash on Washington. Then 33% of the tickets and 88% of the cash on the over. Take it away here, Babano. Anything interests you? Nats Rangers.
I'm going to go Washington first 5, full game split. Dane Dunning can't be laying this kind of price. He's 0-6. I should say Texas is 0-6 in his last 6 starts. They're not exactly hitting the ball collectively as a team right now. And I don't want to say Espino's good, but he can come in there with, and I'm concerned that he's not going to pitch many innings because that's been the history with him. So that's exactly why, all the more reason. Maybe I should probably just go first 5 because we know Washington's bullpen. But I'm going to go split. I always go split, so I'm going to stick with that first 5 full game split here with Washington money line. I think they can pull this one out. I mean, I actually like the way the Nats have hit. At times I'm not like I say, liking the way Dunning has pitched as of late. It's just, to me, Espino's shown you a little bit of something going into this start. And again, that losing streak 0-6 for Texas, last 6 with Dunning on the mound, tells me, yeah, we can't be laying $1.55 with Texas with this guy on the mound. So I like Washington here. I think we have a live dog.
And a lot of people do in the chat here. I like Dunning at home. And you're getting a plus 134 and a plus 138. 134 first 5, 138 full game. I'll see if we can beat that. But I like Dunning at home. And I think that early action on Dunning makes sense to me just because of the advantage in the bullpen and what Dunning's done at home. 3.02 ERA in 7 starts. Opponents are hitting 195 against them in Arlington. And
he has been better at home. Yep.
And if you go down to his game log, he's done some pretty impressive stuff. So in his last home start was on the 14th of June, 6 innings, 2 hits allowed against the Astros. Astros don't score run. Now, that was kind of in the midst of when the Astros just stopped hitting for a week and a half or 2 weeks. So maybe that can be explained. Faced Seattle the start before that at home. Now we're going back to the 3rd of June. 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 Ks, no walks. He, go back to the home start before that. Now we got to go back to May 18th against the Angels. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. All that makes me think that the first 5 under is live. It really does. Wow. The Habs assistant coach named Chicago Blackhawks new coach. That's wild.
Luke Richardson. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I like the hire. That guy's paid his dues. What,
Yeah.
4 years AHL head coach, 8 years assistant. It's always been respected. Multiple, I think, Montreal head coaches kept him around as an assistant, which probably tells you all you need to know about what a good job he did. So I like the hire. I think it's good.
Yeah,
I'm glad they're not going the recycled coach route. Something different. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
For
I
a young
agree.
team.
I agree. I want to bet the first 5 under here, but I can't, Lance. Lance saying the first 5 solid under. I can't. I have to stick with this, with what's been working, and that's where everything has to correlate. In saying that, I almost didn't pull the trigger on that first 5 under 3.5 in the A's game yesterday because 67% of tickets were on the over. I felt like I could explain why they were on the over in that, and that Montas, his last few starts had been bad and been on the road, and now he's going to come home and get right. How can I explain here that 83% of tickets are on the over and it's moved to the over? Can you say, oh, it's because of the Nats bullpen, just the Nats bullpen? I can't, because we know the Rangers have no offense against righties, 235, 666 OPS. So because I can't explain while all the money's on the over, I have to stay off. And one of the reasons why I didn't stay off of the A's game was because I'd only had one other bet on the whole card and it had lost and I wanted some action. And there was only 67% compared to 80. I have to stick with what's been happening here and what's been working. So I'm not going to move on this first 5 under. But Babano moved on the first 5 plus 134 and full game plus 138. Let's just see if Circa can beat that very quickly before we move on to the next game on the board. They have the Nats at, wow, plus 122 at Circa. Wow, so that's not going to come close. And plus 127, plus 122, plus 127. You're getting much better at Pinnacle. There's my guy, Alex Ramirez, star of the Spidey play of the day. Moose Money says, I was looking the same way, but Texas has been hitting better. No guarantee Espino goes 5, and Nationals have been hitting better on the road. Not as much recently, but still better overall. And North Ender says, I love betting with Vegas and fading the public. Oh, yeah. We know that works. And Stella Girl found the Nats first 5 at plus 143 at the Superbook. Thank you. Let's get that right now, plus 143. Thank you. Thank you, Stella Girl. It's been great having you in the chat. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, 8:10 p.m. Eastern. The Baltimore Orioles, 32-39, 14-22 on the road at the Chicago White Sox, 33-35, 15-19 at home. We're at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. We have Kyle Bradish going up against Michael Kopech. Bradish versus Kopech. Let's take a look at the weather in Chicago.
No longer Bradish.
Oh, Austin
Voth. Spot start. Yeah.
Spot start for Voth. Okay. Have you capped it with Voth starting, Babano?
We can move on to the next game because I'll just keep this brief. I don't trust either lineup right now. I don't trust either of these two pitchers right now. I don't trust either of these two teams right now. This is a clear pass for me. So hopefully you got something better.
Yeah. Well, let's Jose, can you come up with a quick statistical breakdown?
They both showed you last night, Baltimore and the White Sox. They can't consistently hit even bad pitching. So there you go.
Yeah. I just want to touch on a little bit more. Get Voth's numbers ready, Jose. Let's talk about Kopech here. 2-3, 2.38 ERA, 0.99 WHIP. Bad start last out at the Astros, but I think we can excuse that. Orioles 229, 677 OPS versus righties. White Sox 245, 659 OPS versus righties. DC saying that White Sox are 1-4 in Kopech's last 5 home starts. And the gas report says Baltimore's been hitting. Orioles bullpen 3.14 ERA, 1.23 WHIP. Have converted 17 of 22 save opportunities. They've been very good, while the White Sox bullpen continues to struggle. 4.27 ERA, 1.36 WHIP, 21 of 34 converted save opportunities. And we thought this was, or the baseball minds thought this was going to be a top 5 bullpen coming into this year. Billy Friedrich says Kopech, I believe, is still injured and it's affecting his pitching. I hope he doesn't overcompensate and develop another injury. Saturated says White Sox had so many opportunities last night. Let's take a quick look just here at the weather. 83 Fahrenheit, 6.6 miles per hour in, dies down to 6. Then let's take a look at the line history in this one. We have opening up as at minus 170 for the White Sox. The first move was towards them, then it's come back. Minus 165. The total opened up at 8.5, minus 120 to the over. It's there. It's just sitting there right now at that same price. And 7,855 tickets in. 85% of tickets, 96% of cash towards the White Sox, no movement. 56% of tickets and 71% of cash on the over. Can you give us a quick touch on Austin Voth, Jose?
Well, let me tell you about my man, Austin Voth. Let's see here. This is his second start of the season. I remember him making a late appearance as well in a start versus Tampa Bay at home. It was his last appearance, 2 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 4 Ks and a walk. Not bad. Only given up 2 runs this month, and those were on the 10th. He went 1 1/3 at Kansas City, gave up a run there and a home run, and then Toronto 1 1/3, 1 run there. Overall, I mean, doesn't seem like a horrible pitcher, but not someone I would want to put my money back. He's was on the Nationals for a little bit. He's got an 8 ERA this year and only 24 innings pitched, obviously. So it's a little inflated, in his FIP's a 4.71. So probably a little better than his numbers indicate, but not a guy I would want to back. In the minors this year, he really hasn't even made any starts in the minors either. So it's been mostly just major league appearances out of the bullpen for Voth. And he's gone max 2 innings, maybe 3 this time, because he went 2 2/3 last time. Probably eventually trying to stretch him out and see what you got. But I would expect 3 innings, and we'll see what we get from him. I don't personally would want to back him. And the Orioles against righties this month, I believe they're 19th. Let me double check here. I believe they're 19th. Yeah, 19th, 95 weighted runs graded plus, so a little below average too. Orioles against lefties, yes. Orioles against righties, maybe not.
I remember him just being a gas can with the Nats. Clearly, it's going to be a bullpen day. I don't know what to do with Kopech. You think, Babano, there's real issues with Kopech?
Yeah, he's not been what we think he's capable of. The velocity decline is always a red flag when you see that. But at the same time, I mean, we're just not seeing it. Baltimore hit righties at all right now. I mean, it's been putrid for the Orioles against right-handed pitching. It's almost to the point now where with Baltimore, if I'm going to trust their offense, it's going to have to be lefty exclusive, because right now they're just not hitting righties at all. So I kind of want to go over with the 2 pitchers. I don't trust either one, Voth or Kopech at the moment, but I don't. How do the White Sox get shut out by Cosmo Kramer last night? I mean, that's just terrible for them. I would rather have these 2 lineups against lefties right now. That's the bottom line. So that's why it's on that game. I'm not even going to come close to betting.
Billy Friedrich says, wasn't good seeing Kopech punch the wall of the dugout too. He clearly didn't learn from his time in the minors with the Bo Sox, punched the wall and broke his hand. Okay.
You got to be some kind of moron to do that, by the way. I mean, just take out your frustrations another way. I mean, you're just completely, risking injury and killing your team if you get a significant injury, break your hand, break your arm, you slam your something down. I mean, it's just not good. You got to be smarter.
And we watched what that did to the Brewers' playoff chances last year.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on. No action there. We move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern, and we finally get to Dylan Bundy Day.
Yes.
Dylan Bundy Day here.
We all love Dylan Bundy Day. Yeah.
So you don't like any of the other Bundys, huh? You don't like King Kong and female Bundy, whose name I always forget. You just, or Ted. You don't fuck with Ted Bundy either. Is that what you're telling me?
No, that is what I'm telling you. All I want is Al Bundy. That just the rest of them are just, there's nothing in comparison to this one. This is it for me. I want this poster, by the way. I want this t-shirt. I want to move forward with this. His face is perfect. Everything about this is perfect. Everything about this is absolutely perfect. And
hands in his pants. I just realized that.
Of course. And interestingly enough, Sports Insights has given Dylan Bundy and the Baltimore Orioles full line value here today.
I might back him today then. Fuck it. Who knows?
Full line value. There's 2 spots where they give half line value. I cut one of them because it was Baltimore Orioles with Bradish, so who cares? So then there's only 1 spot, and then there's a couple slivers. That's it. Full line value on the Minnesota Twins and Dylan Al Bundy. Let's talk about it. Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We start with the weather. 88 Fahrenheit, feels like 93, and it is blowing sideways, right to left, 13.2 miles per hour, goes down to 12.5, blowing pretty strong right to left, which should help the movement for the pitchers. Then we move over to the line history in this one. We move over to the line history in the Bundy Marquez spot. Nothing. Nada. No movement. Twinkies open up minus 160. That's where they stand right now. From a total perspective, it opened up at 9, juiced to the over at minus 125, and within 2 hours and 40 minutes moved to 9.5. Then it came back, and now it's almost a pick 'em, just minus 115 to the over. Let's take a look at the cash and see if anything here follows suit in this one. Rockies, Twinkies, 6,569 tickets in. 91% of the tickets, 97% of the cash is on Minnesota and Dylan Bundy. But the market has not moved? Why would that be? If all of the money is on the Twins, why wouldn't they want to even it up? You have to ask yourself that question. Then we have the total, 65% tickets on the over, 59% cash on the over. The over-under that Pistol Pete Loshak predicted with Herman Marquez going on to the IL was June 15th. He's blowing past it by 9 days, and he still looks bad. Back-to-back starts against the Padres isn't easy. His last one, 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 7 Ks, 2 walks in a 5-4 win at home versus the Padres. North Ender, I love seeing that the Elks are down to +8. I don't know why I can be so confident in this football game with such a trash team, but I can't wait to watch it. And I'll be ham boned. I'll be so drunk. I hope, and if I win it, I'll be in, oh God, that's where you don't want to see me. Niagara Falls hammered, calling people asshole for no reason, slapping strangers' asses. I'm going to get beaten up. Marquez, 3-5, 6.16 ERA, 1.55 whip. He's looked bad all year. So is Dylan Bundy, 4-3, 5.17 ERA, 1.31 whip. But his last start was a thing of beauty at Arizona. 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 7 Ks, no walks, and an 11-1 win. There's Big Ragu in the house. He says Twins bats. Rockies versus righties, 249, 698 OPS. And if you put the thin air into that, they're atrocious then against righties. Twins versus righties, 254, 749 OPS. Rockies bullpen, 4.76 ERA, 1.39 whip, converted 19 and 25 save opportunities. Twins bullpen has got to get better. If you watch this team, they go when their bullpen starts pitching well, they go on a winning streak. When their bullpen falls apart, they start losing games. 3.97 ERA, 1.28 whip, converted 17 and 28 save opportunities. And Billy Friedrich saying Bundy's 2.29 ERA at home. Take it away here for us, Babano. Rockies, Twinkies.
Over. These two guys, of course, it's a no-brainer for me, over the total. Now, I know he was brilliant in his last start, Dylan Bundy, against Arizona, out of the blue. He was terrific, probably one of his best starts of the year. But let's not be blinded by recency bias here, and let's not just all of a sudden assume that things are back on track for Bundy. I got to see it again. And Colorado, we know on the road, a lot of people think they're not the same offense, but I thought they did okay against the Marlins. They had a couple of nice, games there against the Marlins offensively. They're starting to at least hit a little bit better on the road, which gives me confidence here tonight against Bundy. Plus, Bundy's stuff really wasn't any good until that last start against Arizona. And on the flip side, Marquez hasn't been any good either. He came back from the IL and he struggled mightily. I think the Twins get to him here in this spot as well. So I understand why Minnesota's favored. They're clearly, better than Colorado, but I can't lay this price with Bundy, and I don't trust Bundy. And I know the Twins should hit Marquez as well. So I'm going to look over 9, -1. I think -115, but might be able to get better than that. Let me just double check. Pinnacle's always that book where we might be able to get.
It's -117 at Pinnacle.
Okay, we'll go with -115. Yeah, that's probably as good as it gets.
Over 9 at -115 for Babano in Rockies, Twinkies. I would love to hear what Ragu, fade Bundy, but Marquez, any other pitcher. He can't do it. Joe Yurgis says with these pitchers, you're going to need plus odds no matter how you bet it. DC says overs 5-0 in Twins' last 5 games is a home favorite of -151 to -200. Overs 5-0-1 in Twins' last 6 Friday games. CT Bay says Twins are 1-7 in Bundy's last 8 starts. And we know where that win was. It was his last start. Drug Monkey RX says Bundy solid at home. Let Picks in the house says this game screams over. And Jarek White, thank you. Found it over 9 at -110 at Bovada. Beautiful. Lock that in. CT Bay says Bundy gave up 13 earned in 3 starts prior to the last one. Detroit, New York, Toronto. And there's Razor Sharp picks with the $4.99 dono. Thank you so much, my man. What a great, great guy Razor is. Check out his show tonight. It's such a fun show.
I'll be on it, actually. Believe it or not, my debut on the Friday night show tonight.
Oh, really? Finally?
Not for the whole show, but I'll be probably in and out. I'll come on for a bit. I'll go off for a bit, come back on maybe toward the end. So that's the plan.
That's great. Babano making his first appearance on Catch It Fridays. I would be on it too. I love the show. And my horse racing account is full of cash right now, but I've got to drive down to Niagara Falls for this bachelor party, so I won't be able to do it. Big Review says full value on Bundy. Release the Kraken now. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's Matty Ice in the house, who's been white hot as well. All right, let's move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 23-48, 15-20 on the road at the Kansas City Royals, 25-43, 12-21 at home. I did give you guys an idea that there's a bunch of spots on the board, 6 of them, in fact, and I have made 4 bets, 2 on 2 games. So, 4 bets overall, 2 different games. And there was 5 other games that I wanted to move on. This was one of them, and I was unable to do it. I wanted the A's, both first 5 and full game. But when it came down to Cole Irvin's home road splits, I just couldn't back him, no matter how much I want to fade Zach Greinke. And we know that Salvador Perez is not going to be – he's gone on the IL. What a great opportunity, And Raymond Reichart says, Friday you get to hit the bottle in good faith. No rules. Yes. I have been sticking, other than that beer that I had yesterday, I have been sticking quite tightly to the no drinking Sunday to Thursday. And CT Bases Athletics first 5 plus 115. Trust Irvin over Greinke. I get it. I completely get it, CT. And that was I can't. When a pitcher splits are that poor, even if I want to fade Greinke with everything that I am, coming off the IL, May 29th was his last start with elbow injury. I can't do it. I have to keep this correlated. And if that means that my quantity of action goes down, then my quantity of action goes down, and I let it go. Coins on the other side says Royals first 5 money line minus 132 is a play. Says Irvin stinks on the highway and A's can't hit righties on the road. CT Base says Greinke 5.05 ERA. He's been out a month. No thanks. Oh, I don't want him. Robert Franklin on the Irving road splits on Royals first 5. If it was a free bet, sure. Yeah. But if it's money coming out of my pocket, I just can't look at those splits and pretend they don't exist. It sucks because I want to back the A's on the road. And I know that sounds crazy, but I think there's going to be nice spots for us. Razor Sharp Pick says, tune in tonight for those live NHL bets from Babano. Says, can't wait, man. We will take a shot for you tonight, Jimmy. Thank you. Since we're going to miss you, I usually don't drink during shows, but we'll try. Okay. Oh, you're a good man. All right, let's take a look at the weather in Kansas City. Here it is 89 Fahrenheit. Feels like 101. Hot. 12.4 miles per hour is the wind. It's right to left, right across the diamond. Then we'll take a look at the line history in this one. It had been moving towards the Mariners. Let's see if it's still moving towards the A's. It hasn't moved since last night, 8:33 p.m. 10-cent move towards the A's from 125 plus 125 to plus 115. This total, listen to this. This total opens up at 9, drops to 8.5. Then goes back to 9 at 7 this morning. And then an hour and 15 minutes ago, it moves to 9.5. So now we're up a full run since 2:18 in the morning. 2:18 in the morning. MLB spreadsheet play of the day is in from our Ron Crawford. Deacon says, when do you move into the new shipping container house? There we have been pushed back at least a week. It's supposed to be July 15th now, July 22nd. And I don't really want to talk about it because I got to get out of this. I'm losing my shit.
Need help moving?
No, we're good.
It's like that Animal song. We gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do, we gotta get out of this place. We'll make it a better life for me and you.
Oh, it's not a show unless Babano gives us a few bars.
Great song, too, from
A's Royals here. Let's just take a quick look at the cash. So 6,241 tickets in. 35% of the tickets, 65% of the cash on the A's. That's a green light for me to attack. 52% ticket, 60% cash on the under. A green light for me to attack, but I couldn't get past these home road splits. A's versus righties, 203, 580 OPS. Royals versus lefties, 238, 689 OPS. A's bullpen, Royals bullpen, both terrible. I couldn't move on it. Maybe Babano can talk me into it. Take it away. A's, Royals.
I have the same dilemma you have pretty much because I don't trust either pitcher and I don't trust either lineup. That's the issue. Oakland is a truly, truly grotesque and wretched offense. They are. And I know people are flocking to the over in this game because of the two pitchers. I get that. But now it's, what is it, 9.5 I'm seeing with the total? 9.5, and they're still betting it over? I mean, Oakland can barely string 2 runs together in a game. 0-1, 2, 0-1. 5 of the last 6 games. Kansas City, they had an outburst against Detmers, and they actually hit Syndergaard a little bit, But other than that, 2-0 shutout the last game. Before that, they had 2-3, 2-2. I mean, these lineups are they're garbage. Both of them, especially Oakland. Oakland is just hopeless offensively right now. Irvin does struggle on the road, 5 ERA. Greinke was horrible before his injury, and he's coming back. Who the hell knows what we're going to get from him. But he does have a 2.49 ERA at home at Kauffman. All right, his home ERA is actually pretty solid so far. So my initial lean was, man, don't I have to bet over with these two pitchers? But I ended up passing. The lineups are sketchy. And actually, Greinke does have good home numbers, so that kept me off too. It's tough.
Yeah.
Really,
no, it's
really
beautifully put. It's perfectly put. Perfectly put. And I've got to stay off, unfortunately. But let's talk about a game.
He has good numbers, Greinke, at home, and he's facing a shit lineup, and this is an absolute shit lineup. Oakland. Can't we kind of expect him maybe to pitch okay? That's kind of the way I'm thinking.
I don't know if we can. But we do have a new nickname for you, Barbano.
Barbano, there we go. Yep.
Barbano from JPZ. All right, let's move on here. Nathan Stern says if you're wagering a 2-team parlay is the best way to get a chance for profit. I told you guys, let's flash back to like 7 or 8 years ago. I only really had about $100 to $200 a day to gamble with, and so I did parlays because I wanted the big scores, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I remember so succinctly when you said that. One thing I would do is I would anchor a team, and I remember there was one day I went to Shoeless Joe's to bet the horses, and I had 6 games anchored to this one team, and that team lost, of course, and the 6 other games won. And I was like, God, I can't keep doing this. It's just gonna. So, but depending on your bankroll, you do what's best for you and for the highs that come with gambling. And of course, you'll always hear anybody who does this full time talk about bankroll management, bet size appropriately, because the lows are is more horrific than the highs feel good. Let's go. Toronto Blue Jays, Milwaukee Brewers, American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I just love this spot. And call me a homer and things like that. But Manoah, after allowing 4 runs to the Yankees, the Blue Jays, after stopping the sweep and then getting a day off to recharge and come into Milwaukee. I'm on the Jays first 5 -1/2 and the Jays full game -1. I like the first 5 -1/2 much more because you can keep the bullpen out of it. But if you say to me, look, Adrian Hauser at home is so much better than he is on the road, I would agree with that. And I've backed Hauser on the road, and it's not been working lately. He's not been good at home of late. He's been struggling everywhere, including at home. And this is a nasty team that's about to take him out. Against the Phillies in his last home start, they lost 10-0. He allowed 5 earned runs in 6 innings. So he allowed 1 earned run against the Padres in the start before that. Let's go to the full split. I believe it's about like a 2.94 ERA or something like that at home. But I'm willing to take that risk because he just hasn't been very good of late. At home, 2-3, 2.94 ERA. Opponents hitting 225 against him. And if we look at his last 3 starts at Cincinnati, he allows 3 earned runs, walks 4. At the Mets, now that's a tough spot to be in. 4 2/3, 8 hits, 4 earned runs. And then he allows 5 earned runs to the Phillies. So he's allowed 12 earned runs in his last 16 and 2/3. And I'm on the Blue Jays here after a day to recharge and attack. Let's take a look at the line history for this Blue Jays spot. We have the Jays opening up at minus 150. They went up to minus 155. Then they dropped to minus 135. Damn, why didn't I get on them then? I got them at the worst line. Now they're back up to minus 145, but there was a big 20-cent move towards the Brewers. Oh, it's cost me some money there. CT Bases, Brewers full game plus 133 says, feels like Padres Phillies yesterday. Maxwell says, I'm feeling a Jays hot streak, run line 5 units. Nathan Stern says, I was fading the Blue Jays. Now I feel like I may be back on the train. DC says, Blue Jays are 5-0 in their last 5 road games. There's a team with a winning record. Brewers are 0-4 in their last 4 games as a home underdog. Nate says, hard to fade the Brew Crew. Ronnie and Bergia says, I love this spot for the Jays. I'm on it. Manoah bouncing back is key. He's got a 2 ERA, 0.94 whip, and he had a tough out. His first tough outing of the year in that 4-0 loss at home to the Yankees. I think Hauser can get touched. I know the Jays bats are going to heat up against righties, and unfortunately I'm involved with the Jays bullpen, but maybe a day off helped them there as well. Take it away, Babano. I got the Blue Jays first 5 minus half, minus 120, and full game minus 1 to minus 121. Take it away, my man.
Exact same 2 bets. Blue Jays first 5, Blue Jays full game. Manoah, I've backed a lot and won most of the times with him on the mound, 9-4 this year. The Blue Jays in his starts, about a 2 ERA overall, 1.8 ERA on the road. Kind of struggled last start, but that was against the prolific Yankees lineup. Before that, let's not forget shutouts and back-to-back against the Orioles and the Royals. And he's given up pretty much 3 runs or less in every start, aside from the Yankee game last time out. So he's been great. Adrian Hauser's trending in the wrong direction. Last 3 starts, actually 4 of the last 5 starts, he's struggled. 3 of the last 4, he's given up at least 4 runs. 4 runs, 8 hits to the Mets. 5 runs, 7 hits to the Phillies. Got bombed in that game. 3 runs, 4 hits, 6 innings in his last start. Even at home, he's been struggling a few times. Cardinals just mashed him a few times ago as well. So don't like the way it's trending at the moment for Hauser. Again, you mentioned the Blue Jays. Manoah pitch better here. He's a bet-on pitcher. I really like the first 5 money line, but I'm going to go full game money line too and split it up as I usually do because, look, the bullpen's been trouble for the Jays lately, but they get a big-time day off yesterday, which was huge for them. They needed a day of rest. The relievers needed a day of rest, so all the best relievers are going to be available today, fresh, ready to go, whether that's Simber, Mesa the lefty, Jordan Romano is going to be ready to go to close if need be, and he'll be on good rest. So all the hands are on deck for the Jays. This is one day where if their bullpen's finally going to have a good game, it's going to be tonight because everybody's rested and they needed it. So Jays first 5 full game. And
you don't want the minus a half or the minus 1. You want to just go money line.
We'll do money line. Yep.
So we found a minus 143 full game, minus 139 at Circa. So let's give you that minus 139. Then first 5, let's see what Circa is offering. Because Pinnacle has them expensive first 5, minus 155, which I love seeing. They got minus 148 here for first 5.
As long as I get below minus 150, I will go money line. If it's above minus 150, that's all that's available. Then I go down to the minus a half a run for a better price. Yep.
CT Basis, Hauser gets crushed for 3 teams that saw him twice this season. Look, I agree with that look. I agree with the angle, CT Base. I get it. I just have a feeling that this team is needed that day off so badly. And I just think they're going to be dangerous here. Now, Milwaukee has slight line value here, according to Sports Insights. I'd say like maybe 14% of a line. And 10% of the tickets and 38% of the cash is on Milwaukee. And then 25% of tickets, 96% of cash is on the under. I'm starting to think that the under is a good look. It's just, do the Jays scare you enough to stay off that first 5 under 4.5 at minus 120?
I personally can't bet the Jays under. They've been an over machine. The bullpen struggled. But Manoah is the one thing that's keeping me off the over, obviously.
Yeah, but what about the first 5?
I think Hauser would keep me off the first 5 over. Or under, I should say. Yeah.
I think that I mean, we know that Manoah's going to look good, and the CT base stats, and then it's all coming together for me on an under here. Is and I'm going to add it to my card. I'm going to add it. First 5, it's minus 120 at my book right now. Toronto Mill, first 5, under 4.5. I'm going to be adding to my card. Okay, we move on. 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Cubs at St. Louis Cardinals. What a wonderful rivalry this is. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. These Cubs 13-19 on the road. The Cardinals 21-13 at home. We're going to start with the weather in Missouri. 90 Fahrenheit. Feels like 93. 7.2 miles per hour right to left, but slightly in. Goes down to 6.8 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the line history in this one. We have Hendricks versus Palante. No movement. There was 5-cent moves to the Cubs, and then it would always come back. So it's right where it started with the Cardinals minus 160. Then the total opened up at 8.5, and it moved to 9. I was going to move on the over in this game. This was another spot where after I had written down all the important notes that I felt I needed to write down, I went to after I was ready to go, I went to the market and looked at things, and I could not get over the fact that all the money was on the under. I couldn't get past that. Let's see if that has changed now. We did see that this market went from 8.5 to 9, and it moved to 9 at 2:18 a.m. So then we go over to the cash, and Bruce Hayward making a big bet on the Cardinals. Deacon Mike saying Hendricks last 3 starts, innings pitched 5.54, giving up 10 earned runs and 6.28 ERA in those 3 games. Drug money spreadsheet play of the day is here. Yes, it is. And North Ender is with me on that first 5 under 4.5. I like it. Billy Friedrich saying Hendricks is washed. Yes, we have arrived at the spreadsheet play of the day as well. It is the St. Louis Cardinals for our Ron Crawford. All right. Cubbies, Cards, Hendricks, Palante. Let's go over to the cash and see if anything's changed in this spot that I got scared off. 9,444 tickets in. 61% of tickets on the under, 86% of cash on the under. And I keep going back just to what's working for me. My instincts have a negative ROI in MLB. And I didn't realize that until I started doing this every day publicly 5 years ago. I thought I was a really good capper, baseball capper. I thought I was really good. I thought it was one of my best sports. And then I realized, no, I was an ignorant capper and not a good baseball capper. And I got crushed the first season I did it publicly. And I lost the second season I did it publicly. And then things have started to turn. And that's because the books are going to beat me if I'm left alone to my own instincts. And my instinct was over. Kyle Hendricks, 2-6, 5.43 ERA, 1.35 WHIP, 68 innings, just 49 Ks, 20 walks, 13 home runs. One thing that tends to wake up pitchers that you actually believe in, unless you see that the spin rate is down and the velocity is down, is going on the road in a divisional matchup. And I don't really trust Andre Palante. Look, he's been very good. 2-2, 1.69 ERA, 1.34 WHIP, 29 Ks and 42 2/3, 18 walks. So the K to walk ratio isn't good. He's a 23-year-old 4th-round pick in 2019 out of Cal. But if you go to his minor league numbers, they've been the same the last couple of years. He's got about a 3.9 ERA, and they're okay. He's pitching over his head right now. He's coming off a nice start. It was a loss at the Red Sox. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 1 walk. When will they have the book on Palante? Because the time's going to come sooner or later when they have the book on him. Cubs versus righties, 244, 709 OPS. Cards versus righties, 251, 716 OPS. Cubs bullpen, 4.70 ERA, 1.34 WHIP have been bad. Cards bullpen starting to pitch a little better, especially the back end. 3.69 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, converted 17 of 23. Take it away here, Babano. Cubs, Cards.
Yeah, I'm on the over here. 2 teams that Cubs are trending over. Cubs bullpen, by the way, you talk about St. Louis's bullpen being a little bit better. Chicago's got like a 7 ERA in their last 10 games. This bullpen for the Cubs, not good at all during this stretch here. So I think when you look at it here, this is certainly don't trust Hendricks. Hendricks is not someone that's pitching very well. He could be washed. Someone said in the chat he's washed. I don't know if I want to go that far yet, but you can't be liking what you're seeing. 5.43 ERA overall, 5.81 on the road. He gave up 6 runs, 8 hits, 4.1 innings in his last start against the Braves. Wasn't very good. He gave up 4 to the Reds, 7 to Arizona. I mean, he's had some ugly showings here, and the Cardinals obviously see him quite a bit. Palante, 3 runs, 12 hits in 14 innings or so. He hasn't been that bad. The walks have been an issue, though, a little command and control, and the peripherals say he's not pitching as good as that 1.69 ERA indicates. His xERA is about 2 runs higher, 3.5, and the FIP and the xFIP even higher, around 4 for Palante. So that tells you right there that I think at some point, you're going to see some decline in his early results here since joining the Cardinals rotation. So I like over the total. I think you'll get runs late, especially from St. Louis. The Cubs bullpen, heavy usage. They've got exactly CT Bays. They've got to be taxed. Great point. Not only a bad, struggling bullpen, but an overused, exhausted one. That could be trouble. I like over the total.
Let's get you over that total right now. We're going to move over to Pinnacle and see what they're offering here. And move to 9 around 2 in the morning. And we have, and it's not now, look, it's moving to the under. The under's at minus 112 now. The over 9 is at plus 100. No VIG on your over.
There we go. That's good.
Yeah, and then we'll move over to, it's a no VIG at any of these books right now, all plus 100.
Plus 102 at Bookmaker. We'll take that. Yep.
Let's lock that in for you, Babano. Babano over 9 at plus 102. And I'll be watching this very closely as my gut is a losing baseball capper. And I know it now. And I'm not afraid to say it out loud. And that was my plan as well. Let's move on. 9:38 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Mariners 32-39, 17-21 on the road at Los Angeles Angels 34-38, 18-20 at Homeward Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Chris Flexen versus Michael Lorenzen. I tell you, I do not have a read on Michael Lorenzen. In my head, I think of him as a gas can. When I watch him pitch, I'm like, oh, this guy's got skills, but I can't figure out when he's going to get touched and when he isn't. And he's coming off. This is another start, much like the very first game that we capped. Alcantara in Alcantara's spot against Taiwan Walker. Both these pitchers just faced the opposition last out. Angel Stadium, Anaheim, California. Let's start with the analytics here, the weather. 84 Fahrenheit, 8.4 miles per hour out to right center. This is offensive weather in Anaheim. But if you've got a lineup where you're using Matt Duffy, you can't be counted on to produce runs, even if you have 2 best players in the league. Let's take a look at the line history here. And we have these Angels opening up at minus 140. By midnight, they were minus 160. And then 2 hours ago, they came back 5 cents. So it's minus 155, a 15-cent move to them. When we go over to the total, it opened up at 9. It opened up at 9 plus 100 to the over, and it just got bet. Then at 8:18 in the morning, it became 9.5. And then actually, once it was 9.5 at 8:18 in the morning, it came back 5 cents. So it's minus 120 to the under at 9.5. We'll take a look at the cash flow in this one. We have here, where is it? Here we go. 6,847 tickets in. 75% of the tickets and 93% of the cash is on the Angels and Lorenzen. Then 58% of tickets, 95% of cash on the over. And you know what? It makes sense to me. I probably should have moved on it before. I probably could have beaten that 8, but I mean, minus 125 totals, I won't bet anymore. Lee Davis is over here as well. Joe Yurkovich says being a winning bettor is when you can pick off where the public opinion on a bet is off. Sounds obvious, but I think people forget that. No, that's well put and succinct. DC says over is 8 and Owen Lorenzen's last 8 starts overall. Here you have Flexen, who's coming off facing these guys where he wants to face them in the pitcher's ballpark. Why am I not already on the over here? Everything to me is screaming over, even though I missed the market move by a half run. Everything's screaming at me. Flexing 4.23 ERA, 1.42 whip. I don't think his splits have been as drastic as last year, but let me just pull them up very quickly to see if any of that has changed, because remember when he came over from Asia, he was just lights out at home and he would struggle on the road. We'll go to his full splits here right now, and we have 3.82 ERA, points hitting 278 at home, 4.62 ERA, 0-5 on the road, but opponents hitting 268. So not that much difference with the batting average. He went 6 hits, allowed 2 earned runs in that 4-2 extra inning loss at home. Michael Lorenzen got touched by these Mariners. 8-1 loss, 7 hits, 7 earned runs. The Mariners hitting 240, 710 OPS versus righties. That number's going up. Angels hitting 239, 721 OPS versus righties. And both bullpens are below average. Mariners 4.04 ERA, 1.15 whip converted 12 of 19. Angels bullpen 4.08 ERA, 1.18 whip converted 18 of 32. And if you had said, Babano, when the season started, that we'd be sitting here 71 games into the season and the Mariners would have only had 19 save opportunities, I would have been shocked. Now, I didn't touch them on the futures market with the pickups and the moves they made in the offseason with Suarez, with Winker, but I would never have believed that 71 games they'd have 19 save opportunities. Take it away here. At CT Base says Lorenzen road ERA 6.14, home ERA 2.52. Says Angels money line or run line. Take it away, Babano. I can't wait to hear your breakdown here. I think I want to get involved. Mariners, Angels.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, I want to take Seattle. That's as close as I came to betting something here with Seattle first 5 full game at a nice plus price. But then I look at Flexen's road numbers, and then I look at the 1-6 in his road starts, and I don't know if I can do it. But I know for damn sure I'm not laying a price with the Angels and Lorenzen right now, and a pitcher that just got rocked by this very lineup he just faced. They're betting the shit out of the over, too. And look, Lorenzen, I get it. I think Lorenzen, by the way, the over has cashed in 8 straight starts for him since the start of May. Unbelievable. He's been an over machine, but it's kind of been the opposite for Flexen. And neither of these lineups I trust. Seattle, they did mash Oakland pretty good the first 2 games of that series, but before that against the Angels, they were shut out in 2 games. They only scored 2 runs in one of the games. The only game they won and scored a bunch of runs was against this pitcher, Michael Lorenzen, when they won 8-1. So, but he is better at home. There's no question. The home ERA is decent. So that's kind of going to keep me off Seattle. I'm leaning Seattle first 5 full game. I kind of lean that way. I want to take it, but Flexen's road record, they don't win with Flexen on the road, and Lorenzen does have a solid home ERA. So for that reason, I'm off the Seattle side. And I'm at this point, I don't know if the total deserves to be this high, 9.5.
I kind of like the opportunity of the zigzag theory. I think it's I kind of like this, but I must not be confident because my palms haven't been leaking very much lately, and they just started leaking. I guess that means it's a real gamble. I'm starting to lean towards the Angels first 5 -0.5. Flexen getting touched on the road. Lorenzen having a bounce back start. DC giving us great stats. So Mariners are 5-0 in Flexen's last 5 Friday starts, 4-0 in their last 4 games with right-handed starter, but 0-6 in Flexen's last 6 starts as an underdog.
He's got a live arm, Lorenzen. There's no doubt about that. He's got a live arm. He can throw hard. He's got that going, but he's got to harness it. He's got to locate a little bit better than he does sometimes. That's where he's been hurt so much. So, I know he's all concerned about making sure he's got the great arms and the physique and all that, but maybe work on, your pitch sequencing, maybe work on, where should I go in the zone in terms of a certain at bats. He's got to work on the nuances of pitching. When to throw what pitch sequencing, pitch location. That's what he's got to work on. He's got a good arm, but he's got to work on some other things with his game right now.
I love CT Bay saying Lorenzen home road splits are drastic and conveniently telling. There's no pitcher we're going to love more than a predictable pitcher. And if that's what Lorenzen will do home road, just like Molly did for us last year, then it's something that I have to take advantage of. And I'm going to give it a shot. First 5 minus a half on the Angels. Chief says Lorenzen just gave up 7 to Seattle. We often see that zigzag in a second time you see an opponent, whether you have a great start or a bad start. I'm comfortable enough here to give it a shot. I do not trust Flexen. I don't trust him on the road. And
it's important to point out, Nathan, that Lorenzen's a rookie starter, but he's been around a long time. Like he's been in the majors like 2-3 years now. Before this year as a reliever, as a bullpen guy, going back to with the Reds. So he's been around a little bit, but it is first rookie starter. We'll put it that way.
Some nice numbers too for the Angels against Flexen. All right. Leroy Flood.
Oh, happy birthday, Leroy.
Leroy Flood. He's had our back since the beginning. Needs a birthday pick today for Leroy Flood. Happy birthday, man. Thank you for joining us on your birthday. I hope the sun is shining where you are at. We need a birthday pick for Leroy Flood. Okay, we have just a few more games, and then we will get Leroy that birthday pick from both of us. My last birthday pick for Millsy's daughter, Nakara, 9-year-old Nakara, cashed. And I know that's something that Pistol Pete has made so wonderful. Joe Yurkovich, Angels first 5 team total over 2.5 minus 110 at DraftKings. Coin saying flexing 1-6 on the road and 1-4 versus AL West. I like it. I like this edition. I'm excited about it. Let's move on. We have just a few games left. 9:40 p.m. Eastern is next. Detroit Tigers 26-43, 8-21 on the road. At Arizona Diamondbacks 32-39, 17-19 a homer at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. So here it was. This was a spot where obviously I was like, look what Merrill Kelly did in his last start against the Twins. Now he's got another home start, and I expect him to shut down these Detroit Tigers. So that was after I'd written down all the information. And then at that point, you move to the market, seeing if everything correlates. And all of the money is on the Diamondbacks, all of it. And the market moved 5 cents. Well, that's just not enough. It's just I can't. Why, if that's happening, aren't the books trying to get some of the other side action? They're not. Why is that? And because of that, I can't move on the Diamondbacks. So let's break it down. It's going to be dumb hot, so the roof will be closed. Ronnie Garcia, 1-2, 4.97 ERA. Nice 1.05 whip. Doesn't walk a lot of batters. 41 Ks to 9 walks, but 8 home runs allowed in 38 innings. Probably not acceptable. He's coming off a fine start. 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which were earned, 2 homers, 5 Ks, no walks. It was a 14-7 loss at home versus the Rangers, but it wasn't on Ronnie. Then Merrill Kelly on the other side, coming off that great start that I mentioned, at home versus the Twins. He's 6-4, 3.46 ERA, 1.29 whip, 78 innings. So Tigers versus righties, 214, 584 OPS. They can't hit them. Diamondbacks versus righties, 211, 671 OPS. They have a little bit of power, but they don't hit them either. Tigers bullpen, 3.14 ERA, 1.17 whip, converted 16 of 21 save opportunities. Looking a little worse for wear over the last little bit, but still very good. Diamondbacks bullpen's been a little better of late, 4.29 ERA, 1.40 whip, converted 17 of 25 save opportunities. Cal 360 says Detroit bats are warming up. Let's go back to this line history that makes no sense if all the money is on one side. We have now no movement. So at 11:09 a.m., there was a 5-cent move towards the Tigers. I mean, that just solidifies everything for me and what I've been doing to succeed in MLB. This total opened up at 8.5, minus 115 to the over. It went to minus 120, and then it's come back to the under. There's been a 10-cent move to the under since it opened. And when we look at the cash flow here, we have 85% of the tickets and 92% of the cash, and the market not moving on the Diamondbacks. 58% of the tickets, 87% of cash on the under. Take it away here, Babano. We have Tigers, D-backs.
Yeah, I like Merrill Kelly as much as anybody, but it doesn't mean I need to lay minus 150 or so with the guy, or minus 160, and I'm not going to. But I do lean Arizona, certainly, but not at this price. And they're not hitting right now, Diamondbacks. Kelly can do all he wants pitching-wise and shut down a horrible Tigers lineup, which I have no doubt he'll do. Detroit is just not a good offense. They're dead last, I think, against righties in particular in MLB right now, team OPS. They're just dreadful. I think he'll go in there and pitch well. He dazzled against Minnesota in his last start. It was dominant. His ERA at home is just above 3. Very good. Garcia, I don't trust as much. He hasn't been great, but he's faced the Yankees, the White Sox, Texas. He's faced some tough lineups. Minnesota. That ain't Arizona. And like I said, Arizona's not hitting right now. And you're right. He's at least not walking as many hitters. So that puts him in a decent position to succeed. But the Diamondbacks, 2 runs or less in 3 of their last 5 games, 4 against San Diego in garbage time when they were down big for most of that game. So their offense is kind of struggling at the moment. You're right. That's true. At CT Bays in the last 5 games, they've been a little bit better. The Tigers, no question. But man, I don't know. I mean, I don't trust either of these lineups right now. I like Kelly a lot. I think Kelly's going to shut down Detroit. What does Garcia do against Arizona? But to me, Arizona's not hitting quite as well the last few games. So I'd lean first 5 in full game under if I were to bet it. But I'm going to pass on the game just to lean to the under.
I'm not going to pass on it now. That was a great breakdown from both you in the chat, and it illuminated the under to me as well. Markets moved towards the under. Cash coming in on the under. The only concern, is it enough of a concern, is the Diamondbacks bullpen and the Tigers offense that's heated up of late. So that would tell me then don't double up and only take the first 5.
Yeah, but they weren't heating up against Boston. Remember, a lot of those numbers are skewed from 2 games against Texas, where they scored 14 against Hearn and they scored 7 against Dunning. In those 2 games. Let's not forget, first 2 games against Texas, 0 runs, 1 run. Series before that against Chicago, 0 runs, 1 run. The Boston series after those 2 outliers against Texas, they scored 2-4-2. So, to me, that's still not a lineup that's really hot. I don't consider that a hot lineup. 2 games skewed the numbers as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely fair. Definitely fair. I'm going to roll with D. Jenkins, and I'm going to add the first 5 under 4.5 to my card. Nikolai Jubinski, this is how he makes his cash. We got to hang out with Triple K Marine down in Miami. He's taking these teams plus 4.5. Pittsburgh plus 4.5. Chicago plus 4.5. Baltimore plus 4.5. Washington plus 4.5. And he's getting plus 104 on that. Billy Friedrich says, I'll be on Diamondbacks to score first at plus 157. I like this. And I liked especially your breakdown, which I didn't know about what Garcia has done and who he's faced of late. And we go to that game log for Ronnie and it's let's just pull that up again here quickly. So Texas, White Sox, Yankees back-to-back against Minnesota. I like this. All right, let's move on. We move on to another spot that I did get to bet, thankfully. I have doubled up on the Phillies San Diego Padres spot. I'm on the Phillies first 5 minus a half at minus 105 and Phillies San Diego first 5 under 3.5 at minus 110. I am trusting Mackenzie Gore to get right after those back-to-back spots against the Rockies, but not trusting him enough to think that he won't be down after 5 innings because Aaron Nola is pitching spectacularly well right now, and I'm backing him. 8 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 8 Ks, 1 walk, and 2 extra inning win at Washington last out. He's 4-4, 3.11 ERA, 0.87 whip, 99 Ks, and 11 walks. Now, home runs have been a bit of a problem for him. 10 home runs and 89 2/3. Mackenzie Gore looked excellent until these back-to-back spots against the Colorado Rockies, and the last one in the thin air of Colorado, where he allowed 8 earned runs in 4 innings. 4-3, 3.64 ERA, 1.33 whip, 54 1/3, 61 Ks, 24 walks, 4 home runs. Big Ragu is moving on the Gore over 2.5 earned runs spot. Phillies hit lefties, 253, 770 OPS, but I like that Gore's coming back home and gets to regroup. Padres versus righties, 241, 691 OPS. Phillies bullpen not good, 4.24 ERA, 1.43 whip. I've taken them out of the equation. The Padres bullpen is pitching like a top 5 bullpen in MLB. So keep that in mind. 3.37 ERA now, 1.09 whip, converted 24 of 34. The weather helps me in this spot. It is 8.8 miles per hour left to right, but slightly in. It becomes a little more in by the end of the game. Then the line history here. The line history in this spot, we have opening up at minus 115 and now minus 135. A 20-cent move towards the Phillies. We look at the total, a 5-cent move towards the over. We pull out the cash, and we have here Philly. We have 6,456 tickets in. 56% of the tickets, 82% of the cash on the Phillies, 20-cent move towards them. 11% of the tickets and 52% of the cash on the under. The public not trusting Gore, and thinking that the Phillies bullpen's going to get lit up, the Sharps are trusting Gore. Take it away, Babano. Phillies, Padres.
Is it a Colorado thing, or is this a sign of a decline? We don't know. Because both of his only two bad starts, his only two horrific starts came against the same team, the Colorado Rockies, in the last two starts. That's the big, giant question. The way I would approach this, and the way I'm leaning, is Phillies team total over 3.5, because they do hit lefties. We know that. It's been a good lineup against lefty pitching this year. Seeing one tonight in Gore. But I don't know if I'm ready to make that official or really go full bore on it, because Gore was very good before those two games against Colorado. Let's see him against a non-Rockies team tonight and see how he fares here. And if he pitches well, that could lead to this game staying under, because Nola's figured out his home road issues. Earlier in his career, he was great at home and not so good on the road. He's pitched every bit as good both home and away this season for the Phillies. And the Padres lineup is still very much depleted. We know that. Machado, Tatis, key bats missing in action for them. That's hurt them quite a bit, and we saw them struggle last night to put runs on the board against Ranger Suarez and the Phillies. So I lean Phillies team total over, but I feel like I'm only making that move. Well, Phillies do hit lefties, but I feel like I'm only making that move based on Gore's struggles against one team. And let's be honest, he was lights out. He was very good before that against everybody else he faced. So I'm not rushing to bet Phillies team total over 3.5. But if I had to bet something, that's what it would be. I'm not going to make anything official, though, for this game.
Well, I've got great news. Taint. I missed Taint somehow. And my bad. I apologize, Matty Ice, because Taint's been so hot. Phillies first 5 -1/2 is Taint. I'm on it. I've already bet it. There it is right there, Matty Ice. Taint play today. Phillies first 5 -1/2. I love it. Taint, baby. I'm on it. Let's get that cash to that little flap of skin between the balls and the Taint. Love that shit. Love it when it correlates with Taint. Final game on the card, 10:15 p.m. Eastern. Cincinnati Reds 23-46, 11-23 on the road at the San Francisco Giants, 38-31, 19-14 at home. Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. We'll start with the weather in Frisco. It is 57 Fahrenheit, 9 miles per hour out to left center, down to 7.7. Wow, kind of chilly in the Bay tonight. We'll take a look at the line movement in this one. Ashcraft versus Cobb. There's been a 40-cent move to the San Francisco Giants. Wow. From a total perspective, it opened up at 8 and has dropped to 7.5. Let's take a look at the line history in this one. The cash. This is now there's been very few of them on the board, but here we go. Sports Insights has half line value on Ashcraft and the Reds. But 92% of tickets and 94% of cash are on the Giants and Cobb. 82% of tickets are on the over, but just 22% of cash, and has moved down a half a run. So what's that say? It says that Cobb is expected to have a good start here. He's coming off a 4-3 loss at the Pirates. He went 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. There were solo shots, 2 Ks, no walk. Ashcraft is 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 2 walks, and a 7-3 loss at home to the Brewers. He's got 3.51 ERA. And a 1.17 whip. Lotus scalpers on the Reds money line. Reds versus Reddies 235, 679 OPS. Giants versus Reddies 243, 731 OPS. Reds bullpen 5.27 ERA, 1.47 whip, converted 13 of 22. Giants bullpen 4.11 ERA, 1.30 whip, have converted 16 of 26. Take it away here, Babano. Last game on the card. Reds, Giants.
Yeah, Ashcraft, pretty good early on, no doubt in his career, but we're starting to get a little concerned about the way things are trending for him as of late. So I understand the Giants move right now. And I still think Alex Cobb, I want to point out something. His ERA is not very good for the year. All of his advanced numbers are spectacular. They're excellent. This guy's ERA is like 5 and change on the year coming into this start. Yeah, 5.62. We're looking at xERA, FIP, and xFIP for this guy more around 3. So he really he's either been extremely unlucky or just things are just not going his way for him. But Cobb definitely appears to be someone that should have a better ERA than he currently has. So I understand why betting markets are infatuated with Cobb right now. They say, no, wait a minute. This guy's not a 5.62 ERA pitcher. His numbers boast that he should be better than that. And he actually has been better the last couple starts. Held both the Pirates and the Reds to 2 runs in each of his last 2 starts. So he's been a little bit better. And we know Alex Cobb, pitching in San Francisco should be a good thing, not a bad thing for him. He's only 2-3 in the home starts for him. But, to me, looks like Ashcraft, I don't want to say hitting a wall, but kind of regressing a little bit here going into this game. I lean San Francisco. I do. But again, the line's moved up. They're not getting the best of the number. I think Giants first 5 makes some sense, -0.5 a run. But again, numbers moved. So that's just a lean.
What a great job, Babano. I look forward to these Fridays immensely. Let's review MLB action here and also birthday pick time for Leroy Flood. After it's all said and done, I would have to decide between 2 bets that I already made today. That's Blue Jays first 5 -0.5 and Phillies first 5 -0.5. And I think they're both great. I think that one thing you could do for a birthday pick, I guess I like the Phillies first 5 -0.5 a little bit more. But one thing you could do is just forget the -0.5 and parlay them on the money line. But I won't give that out. I'll give the Phillies first 5 -0.5 as my birthday pick. Joey Marinaccio, CFL played tonight. Nothing at this point. Nothing. I have the Elks plus 8.5 and the team total over 19.5 tomorrow. I have not moved on this one, but I'm watching the line very closely because I want the Ticats at some point if it gets too high, and it feels like it's getting too high. CT Bay says total suggests Babano is accurate on Cobb's advanced numbers. Total would be 9 if Cobb was a 5+ ERA guy. Joey looking at the over in CFL tonight. It's a low total. All right, let's review all action here, and then Babano will give us a birthday pick for Leroy Flood. Here we go. Oh, there's Taint play today. It's way up here. That's there. It's way up here, but in my CFL action. Okay, Matty Ice Taint play today. Phillies first 5 -0.5 at +105. I'm thinking of the Ticats at 6. Could he even get to 6.5? I mean, I just think we're getting too high here. I'm on the Elks plus 8.5 and the team total over 19.5. Babano's on the over 49 at -112 and Elks Stamps. Then Babano's on the over 49.5 at -115 in Argos Lions. And I'm looking at the Argos. I want to see how high it goes. I get why the money's going to the Lions, but even Babano said if it gets to 6, he's going to invest in the other way. So there we go. In NHL, Gokster and I are on the Avalanche -1 and the team total under 2.5 for the Lightning. Babano has a bunch of spots. He's on Avs -1.5 at +150, Avs team total over 3.5 at +110, and the over 6 at +102. Then when we get into MLB, Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is the Cardinals. By the way, the big Beaver play today from Canadian Capper 72 is a goal for Colorado in the first 10 minutes at +225. Here we go. Dommy Gun Ricci, by the way, is on the Mets over 7 at -120, Yanks -126, Giants -1.5 at +102, Blue Jays -140, and the Lightning game over 6 at +105. Babano gets his card started with the Marlins first 5 at -145 and full game at -129. Then he's on the over 7.5 in Astros Yankees and the Yordan Alvarez over 1.5 bases at +100. We stayed off of Red Sox Cleveland. Say hey play of the day is the Pirates team total over 2.5 at -115, and he laddered it to the over 3 at +105. Babano's on the over 7 at -109 in Pittsburgh Tampa. Babano's on the over 9 at -105 in Dodgers Braves. He's on the Nats first 5 at +143 and the full game at +138. Orioles White Sox we stayed off. Babano's on the over 9 in Rockies Twins. We are off the A's Royals. Now I get to get started. I'm on the Blue Jays first 5 -0.5 and the Blue Jays full game -1. I'm adding Toronto Milwaukee first 5 under 4.5 to my card. Babano's on the Jays first 5 minus. Oh, he's on Jays first 5 money line at -148 and the full game -139. He's on the over 9 at +102 in Cubs Cardinals. I'm adding the Angels first 5 -1/2. I'm adding the first 5 under 4.5 in Detroit, Arizona. Taint is the Phillies first 5 -1/2. I'm on the Phillies first 5 -1/2 as well, and Philly San Diego first 5 under 3.5, and we are off Reds Giants. There you have it. There it is. Babano, my man, excellent work. Birthday pick for Leroy Flood. What do you think it'd be?
Oh boy, birthday pick of all. I guess it's me in charge. So let's see if we can make it. Let's do a Rockies Twins over. Let's do that one.
All right,
One of my favorites to date.
Birthday pick is the Twins Rockies over. I love it. Babano, excellent work. Jose, my friend.
So JPZ sent me something during the show that I think really helped me differentiate something that I often get confused on this show. You know, as you know, today's Bundy Day, and JPZ sent me this, and I had to, remix it and redesign it a little bit. He sent me the Mad Magazine edition of how to differentiate your Bundy, so I've made my own version of how we differentiate Bundys here. So I don't know who the Bundy's name that starts with a C. Is that Clyden? I don't know how to say that. That's too American, unfortunately. But we've got Kong, Ted, Al, and I think this is a good chart that will help me going forward in the future differentiate who's who and what have they done for me.
Not bad.
I love it. I'm going to take a closer look.
Jose putting his free time to good use right there. Yep.
No, see? Thank you.
I love it.
Yep.
I absolutely love it. Thank you for sharing that with us, JPZ, and thank you for sharing that with us, Jose. Eric Romero says, in general, why would you take Blue Jays first 5 money line rather than the first 5 -1/2, even money on a -1/2 and -150 on the money line? You see Babano and I on both sides of the fence, and I understand Babano's spot. I'm on the first 5 -1/2. He's on the first 5 money line. The idea being, and I don't mean to speak.
Keep in mind, I'm low unit, high volume. Low unit, high volume. So laying juice is not as significant for me.
But also, the implied volatility is small. I think it's an under 4.5. So if this was a 4 or a 3.5, I probably do exactly what Babano's doing.
Yeah.
We think there'll be low volatility. We think after the full breakdown, CT Bay's talking to us about how was their first time seeing an opponent. That's why I completely understand. If this was a 5.5 total, there's no way he would be on the money line because there would be a lot of implied volatility. Here we think there's going to be low implied volatility, and that's how you judge whether or not you take the money line or the -1/2. And if I had already bet that under 4.5, maybe I don't take the -1/2. Shout out to Drug Monkey RX, man. Love that. Thank you so much for the support. Means a ton to us. And a great way to end the Friday, Drug Monkey. So thank you so much, my man. Let's have a giant Friday, Babano. So great to have you here rocking with us. What is next for you on the channel here at Pub Sports Radio?
Well, I'll be on the stream with Razor Sharp and company tonight for a little bit, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll be doing that occasionally over the summer. Now that I'm not doing as many daily shows, which is nice. It's actually nice to get this little break from that before football starts up again. So I'll be jumping in. We'll have some fun. We'll get some drinks going. Watch the NHL, MLB, maybe even jump on some of these horse picks that I'm sure Razor and company will throw out there. So looking forward to that. That'll be fun. Big night tonight. I'll be back probably. I'm trying to think when I'm going to be back on again because we don't have NBA. NBA's done. So I'll be back probably on Tuesday, I would think, next week for Say Hey with Jose.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that you've moved over to Tuesdays. Tuesdays is a really fun card. Shout out to Mark Schillingberg. Thank you so much for the dono, my man. It truly means a ton to us. As you know, we'll never sell you guys anything. We just want to win together, get that money together. We want to be great gamblers together. That's the key. So thank you, Mark Schleinberg. Thank you, Babano. Thank you to all of you guys in the chat. Eric Romero, Rance, El Dorado, Custodian, Wallaby King, North Ender, G. Martinez, Nate Cerna, Real Deal Prime, Rance, Lance LaRose, CT Bays. You were excellent today. You were so helpful. Leroy Flood, happy birthday, my man. Jared TG, Max Swelly, Drug Monkey RX, Lit Picks, Chief DC. What a great group. Big Ragu. God, this is just everything that I've always hoped this show would be. Working together to defeat the juice. And we're doing it. We're winning together. and that's means the whole world to us. Thank you, Jose. Spectacular job producing as always. The Al Bundy is maybe your best work. And on behalf of all of us, Jeff Slaughter, all of us here at Pub Sports Radio, thank you guys for the support.
Yep, can't do the show without Pub Sports Radio. There's no question about that. And Jeff, and looking forward to having a Pub Sports Radio bash again down the road for sure. If it was anything like San Antonio, it's going to be a great time.
But Bono, could you leche us into the weekend, my friend?
My gosh. All right, let's have a great weekend, everybody. Hit the like button on the way out. Enjoy the games. Good luck this weekend. Cash some tickets and leche and los bookmakers.
I love it. Great stuff. Losers does a shoey. Or eyes. All right, Jim, right there. Whoever loses does a shoey.
Okay, fine. Loser does a shoey on tomorrow's show.
Bit of crazy there. Bit of crazy.
Hair in here.
Oh, God. Jimmy the Bag is going to... Sapporo. Pouring a Sapporo.
What can you tell me about a Sapporo, Gokester?
Oh, it's a great beer on the golf course. One of my friends loves to crack those. He usually brings a 6-pack. So it's a good beer from what I know. Oh, full tolly, too. Shout out to Jimmy the Bag. Oh,
Jesus. Spilling it all.
Right.
Honey, let's go.
Wow, here we go.
Back in there.
Let's
Oh, man.
go.
A true man. Get it in ya.
Yeah, holy.
Every drop.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Great day.